Scott Ellsman out of Landsberg, Pennsylvania. And alongside Scott, the number 10, Rich Roy out of Round Lake, New York. Row number 5, and inside, cart number 1, that's Jamie Miracle. Alongside Joe from Middletown as well, the 300 of Mark Smith. Row number 7, 13th position, the 4 of Mark Turner. Alongside Mark from Cardiff, New Jersey, the number 40 of Herbie Thomas. Row number 8 in spot number 15, the 69 out of Watertown, Connecticut, that's Robbie Midori. And alongside Robbie, the number 31 from nearby Port Jervis, New York, Jamie Shevlin. Final row, starting in 17th spot from Slate Hill, New York, the number 44 of Kenny Moulton. And alongside Kenny in cart number 74 out of Punkletown, Pennsylvania, that's Barry Greenswag. That's how we're set to go racing right now. The first 8-lap qualifying heat event for the 2-cycle racing go-karts. Right after the two cycle heats will be the two 4-cycle heat events. All heats tonight for street stocks and racing go-karts are 8 laps in nature. As the Olsen Todd Cutlass Supreme pace car drops down to the inside. Here we come on a turn number 4 right now. 5, 6, 7 wide. Green flag flies and we'll go racing. Caution lights will come on. Well, the caution lights came right back on the speedway. Not a uniform starting order. Starting barrel coming out of turn number 4. That's where they get the green here at the Orange County Speedway. 39, 2-cycle racing go-kart. Down the back straightaway, up to the outside part of the speedway. Rides Johnny Tresh and the number 2 toy. Tresh from right here in Middletown, New York will show the way down in turns number 3 and 4. Tresh takes that pack of 2 cycles down hard in turn number 4.
The Auto Loaders experimental number 2, hanging up on the outside right now, holding on to a very slim margin, 3 wide down the front stretch. Here comes the 115 down the bottom side with Mark Smith and the 300 right there as well as Davey York. Now picking up spot number 2 in cart 2X.
Tresh back there in the number 2 cart, drops back to spot number 3. The 300 cart in trouble, drops off the pace, it loses power midway down the back straightaway. Holding on to that number 1 spot, the 115 of Scott Ellsman as he takes that pack down to hard in the turn number 3.
Ellsman now slides it up to the high side, loses out that number 1 spot, and here comes Dave Urich. Urich now sitting back there, dropping off the pace as well on the inside. In the number 1 spot is Urich as he takes it down into turn number 1. Behind him goes the number 1 machine, and that's Jamie Miracle now in the runner-up spot.
Dave Urich will show the way down the back straightaway this time. In that number 2 X-Court out of Warwick, New York. Brought the number 1 closing up very quickly. That's Jamie Miracle. A Miracle up to the outside.
Miracle closing in quickly down off of turn number 4. Dave Urich coming down off of turn number 4, holds on to about a 3-car length advantage as they come down the front straightaway. Miracle runs back in spot 2 with Derek Bond now holding on to position 3. Robbie Midori holding on to 4, then Johnny Tresh rounding out the top 5.
Tresh back to the number 5 spot. Top 2 cars begin to take off the rest of the field right now. Down the back straightaway, Jamie Miracle drops down to the inside part of the back chute. And Miracle are going to take that cart down to the hard in turn number 3.
Doesn't have enough this time, though, is on the outside. Dave Urich fends them off as they come down off of turn number 4 to complete the halfway. 4 laps down and 4 to go. With Urich hanging onto a slim margin. Miracle likes to make the move off the bottom of turn 2. We'll see if it happens again this time.
Urich and Miracle 1 and 2, nose and tail right now. Derek Bond still back there in the number 3 spot as they motor off down the back straightaway. 4th place still Robbie Midori in the number 69 cart, and Johnny Tresh back in spot number 5. Miracle looks up to the outside at turn number 3 right now. Stands on it down in turns number 3 and 4.
Miracle puts it up on the outside, tries to switch grooves down to the bottom side off of turn 4. Dave Urich using all the years of experience to fend them off this time. Miracle looks down to the bottom heading into turn number 1, but Urich slams the door and hangs on to the number 1 spot.
Urich driving a beautiful groove right now as he shows the way into turn number 2. Down the back straightaway. Miracle drops down to the inside. Side by side, they'll drag race them hard down the back chute as they set themselves up for turns 3 and 4.
Once again, the outside is the place to be as Urich holds them off, but as these two race, Derek Bond, 2-time feature winner here in the 94 season, looks alive down to the bottom side, picks up the number 2 spot with 2 laps to go.
Bond slingshots off to the inside corner, down hard in turn number 1, grabs the number 2 spot. Now he sets sail. The chase begins on a turn number 2. Can Bond catch up to the race leader down the back straightaway? Urich sets the sail right now hard in turn number 3. Bond second, Miracle to the outside for spot number 3.
Miracle takes it up to the outside. They go side by side for the number 2 spot. That allows York to pull away just a little bit. The 3 top courts very, very close. Down the first straightaway, the white flag flies. Dave York fending them all off. Derek Bond right there for the last spot in Miracle. Still not out of the running.
Last lap action now as the top 3 begin to separate themselves out of turn number 2. York onto the inside groove, down the back straightaway. Bond up to the outside. Miracle looks for the make it 3 wide, going down at turn number 3.
3 courts look for the number 1 spot. Only one of them can have it. Down up at turn number 4. Checkered flag and a flag going to be a close one down to the wire. Very, very close and tight. But your winner in the 2X will be Dave York. Second spot goes to the number 1 of Miracle. Third would be Derek Bond. Fourth, Robbie Midori. And fifth, in the number 44, goes Ken Moulton Sr.
So there you have it. Winner once again of the first 2-cycle racing go-kart heat event. The number 2X of Dave York. Second spot was Jamie Miracle. Third, the number 7X of Derek Bond, followed by the 69 Robbie Midori and the 44 of Kenny Moulton. Heat number 2 getting set to come out for the Speedway. When they do, they'll line up like this. Your pole sitter out of Schenectady, New York, the number 9 of Kenny Pinjak. Alongside Ken, alongside Scott from Bloomingburg, New York, the 114 of Joe Perez. Row number 9, the number 06 of Brian McDermott, the 16 of Phil Harris, and rounding out the tail side of the field in cart number 29, that's Shane Scott. That's how they'll go racing the second 8-lap qualifying heat event for the 2-cycle karts. Brought to us once again by Karts Incorporated from right here on Dolson Avenue in Middletown, New York. Cut the Supreme Pace Kart drops into the inside. Brought to us by the fine folks from Olson Todd. Now we get set to go racing. Here we come on turn number 4.
Down off the turn number 4, the green flag flies to 3 and 4 wide, coming down the front stretch and right out to the number 1 spot. There goes the number 28, and that would be Robert Lee out of Washington, Connecticut. Booby takes the number 1 spot away.
Lee slingshots on a turn number 2 this time. He'll show the way down the back straightaway, and he wastes no time at all, separating himself from the rest of the field. Second spot going hard right now on a turn number 3, but he's looking up to the outside. Rides to number X7. We got problems down at turns 3 and 4. Middletown, New York. That's the 28A of Scott Thomas. On the outside, the second number 28, that's Robert Lee. As we mentioned before, calling Washington, Connecticut his home. Here we come on a turn number 4 right now. We get set to go back to go-kart racing action.
This time Scott Thomas right out to that early lead as he takes it down into turn number 1. Thomas holding on to it right now with Robert Lee. Sitting back at spot number 2, and here comes Kevin Blampede running in position number 3.
Blampede sets sail coming out of turn number 2 this time as he motors down the back straightaway, feeling some competition. Thomas shows the way down hard into turns number 3 and 4.
As they take it off at turn number 4, Thomas bolstering way out front right now, stretching out the number on margin. Once again, we've got a couple of them together up in turns number 3 and 4. Caution flag out around the speedway. Scott Thomas set to go once again down the front straightaway right out to that number 1 spot, Robert Lee. Now hooks up right behind him. Here comes the 98 now running back to spot number 3, Randy Davis Jr. holding out of the number 3 spot, trying to work off to the bottom side.
Davis out of West Friendship, Maryland, showing the way to the Orange County Fairgrounds tonight, feeling the heat down the back straightaway right now as he fights for the number 3 spot away from Joe Perez.
3 cards go for the number 2 position, but right now they're all chasing Scotty Thomas down the front straightaway. Thomas holds on to about a 10-cart length advantage. Now coming by the start-finish line back in spot number 2 would be the 06 of Brian McDermott. Really running strong, picking up the number 2 spot. After him comes the number 98 of Randy Davis, who picks up spot number 3.
Down the back straightaway, the second number 28 car running in the number 4 spot. That is Robert Lee right now. As Scott Thomas shows the way hard into turns 3 and 4, looks up to the outside part of the speedway. Coming up on the halfway point this time. 4 laps down and 4 to go.
Scotty Thomas way out front right now, holding still under about a 10-car length advantage. McDermott running back in spot number 2 with Davis third. Lenny Dickinson now picks up spot number 4 as he takes it into turn number 1. And right behind him is the number 16 of Phil Harris.
Out of turn number 2, they'll funnel their way down the back straightaway. Leader Scott Thomas way out front, not looking back. Second spot, still the number 06 car running a strong second. That's Brian McDermott. McDermott out to the inside corner right now. Action begins to tighten up coming out of turn number 4.
Scotty Thomas, though, takes a little peek under his left shoulder, checks to see if he's running strong, and he is holding on to that number 1 spot. Third goes Randy Davis Jr. with Phil Harris running in spot number 4. Is now worked by Dickerson. We've got one in trouble down here in turns number 1 and 2. Up on the outside is the number 28.
Robert Lee down there, the number 28 card, running a good top 5 run the entire distance long as he went out to the outside just a little bit too far. Tapped that retaining wall very quickly as he quickly gets out of harm's way, resting down there in the apron up turn number 1.
Caution light is out around the speedway. Caution light on. We've got one stopped up here in turn number 2. One around also in turn number 4 who has refired and brought it around. That's the number 0 that got around up to turn number 4. We don't have a name on that driver, but he has got it straightened out. Billy Cherry going by in the A&R Precasters number 20 down into turn number 2 right now. Now make it spot 2 down on the bottom side. Jim Rumsey working strong, picks up the runner-up spot, switches grooves up to the outside as he battles with Davis. Rumsey looking strong up on the outside.
Rumsey, Davis, and Harris, second, third, and fourth right now as Scott Thomas looking for a checkered flag, buttering midway down the back straightaway. Second spot still Rumsey. Third place, that battle is on. Down to the inside. Rides the number 06 of Brian McDermott.
Well, they're racing for second because your leader brings it down off a turn number 4 way out front. Your winner will be the number 28 of Scotty Thomas. Second place coming right down to the wire on the outside, on the inside. Goes to the 06. Brian McDermott. Third went to the number 1 of Jim Rumsey, then Randy Davis Jr., and Phil Harris back in spot number 5.
So a good run for the second qualifying heat event. Scott Thomas, your winner once again, and card number 28. 4 cycles getting ready for their first of 2 qualifying heat events. Up on pole will be the number 3 out of New Milford, Connecticut. That's Wes Burns alongside Wes from Stratford, Connecticut. The number 22 of Dick Gilmartin. Round number 2, third spot from Hudson Falls, New York. Rides the number 9 of Mark Lepine alongside Mark, the number 17 of Anthony DeRosa. Third row, 5th position out of Milford, New York, the number 88 of Paul Wolf. A long heat event, of course, their feature a little bit later on will be worth $500, courtesy of Carts Incorporated from here in Middletown, New York, along with Cerrone's competition carts in the Mid-Hudson Speedway, located nearby on Route 55 in Poughkeepsie, New York. Caution lights get turned off. The Olson Todd Cutlass Supreme pace car takes the first qualifying heat event for the 4-cycle division down the back straightaway. Pace car down to the inside. 4-cycle racing at its finest here at the Orange County Speedway. Wes Burns will show the way, coming out of turn number 4 this time.
Down the front straightaway, Wes Burns and Dick Gilmartin bring it down the front straightaway side by side, but there goes Paul Wolfie. 5 wide down in the turn. Number 1 they go as Wolfie down on the bottom side picks up the number 1 spot as they go very, very close up at turn number 2. Paul Wolf, your race leader.
Wolf will show the way, but a very tight pack of racing go-karts battling for the number 2 spot for the outside part of the speedway. Rides the number 9 of Mark Lepine. Lepine up to the outside right now. Bumper-to-bumper action. Hard down in turns 3 and 4.
Nose to tail they go through turns 3 and 4. Quickest to fall down on the bottom. That would be the 92 of Mark Smith. Running back in spot number 3 as they go side by side now for the number 1 spot. The 9 and the 88. Paul Wolf loses out that number 1 spot. Mark Lepine picks up the number 1 spot with Mark Smith right behind him. Wolfie back to spot 3.
Lepine leads that trail on a turn number 2 this time, but Smith right there like a shadow in spot number 2. Top 2 cars begin to separate themselves right now, pulling away from the rest of the qualified pack. A good battle right now for the number 1 spot. Lepine will show the way deep into turn number 3 and 4.
Mark Smith seems to be pushing him right through the turn, saying, let's go racing now on the turn number 4. Smith looks to make the move this time, tucked right on the tail side. Nose to tail by the start-finish line. Lepine holding on to it, and Smith definitely trying to make the move to find the groove and a way to get by.
Top 2 qualifiers virtually welded together as they go on to turn number 2 this time. Mark Lepine, the number 9 card from Hudson Falls, New York, leads the way. Now the number 88 card looks up to the outside. That's Paul Wolf. They'll fight for the number 1 spot, going deep into turns number 3 and 4.
Top 2 definitely stretching it out right now, about 15 cart lengths over third place man now down off of turn number 4. Up on the number 1 spot, Mark LePan holding off the hard clutch, and Mark Smith sitting right behind. Good battle for spot number 3 goes with the number 21 of James Tomlinson and Jeff Grunberg in the 273. Tomlinson hangs on to it now, but Grunberg takes it up to the outside, looking for spot 3.
Down the back straightaway, they'll show the way this time, and here we go, a battle for the lead. Down to the inside, right to Mark Smith, and Smith speed on it just a little bit longer down in turns 3 and 4.
Let's see if LePan repays the favor, taps him down the front straightaway, keeps it tucked in right behind him. They come up on the halfway point, 4 laps down and 4 to go. Mark Smith right there, and LePan, yes, right there, nose to tail into turn number 1. Tomlinson holding on to spot number 3, trying to make the cart go faster with Wolfie sitting right back in spot number 4.
Back in spot number 5 right now rides Jeff Roberg out of Brookfield, Connecticut, the number 273 chart. Mark LePan still holds on to that number 1 spot right now as Mark Smith back there in the number 2 battle.
So they swap the lead that lap now. LePan back out on top. Mark Smith, and once again, right there on the tail side, down the front straightaway. LePan hanging under a very, very slim advantage. Smith tucked in, right on his backside, dropped him down into turn number 1 right now. Tomlinson and Wolf also hooked up in a draft. A pair of drafts to turns 1 and 2.
Out of turn number 2, they'll ride this time. LePan will show the way. Mark Smith holds on to the number 2 spot. Top 2 cars providing the most battle. Down to the inside. Ride number 21 of Tomlinson right now. He took the takeover spot number 3 as they go their way in the turns number 3 and 4.
Meanwhile, up front, LePan this time puts a little distance apart from him and Mark Smith off the pace. Down in turn number 4.
Smith in trouble.
Down to the bottom side.
Smith in trouble. The cart loses power. Down the home straightaway. He'll take it behind pit wall.
Now up in the spot number 2 goes the 27 of Kramer Hickman. Hickman holding on to that number 2 spot with Paul Wolf right behind her.
Down the back straightaway, Mark LePan virtually uncontested right now as he's got almost a half a straightaway lead over the remainder of this 4-cycle racing division. Time begins to wind down. The white flag will fly on this go round.
Up on the number 1 spot, Mark LePan way out front. Kramer Hickman coming at us this evening from Pleasant Valley, New York, in the number 27 in spot number 2. The Pleasant Valley native hanging on to it right now. Wolfie right back there in spot number 3. Then comes Groningen Williamson. Spots number 4 for grab as Williamson drops down and takes the spot away.
Last lap action down the back straightaway, all by Lonesome out of Hudson Falls, New York, ride number 9 of Mark LePan. First time at the Orange County Speedway for the 1994 Racing Go-Kart Division.
LePan, a winner this season at the indoor series, at the indoor arena, now brings it out to the outdoors and finds the liking the way he likes it. Check for prize. 8 laps have been scored. Mark LePan wins this heat event. Second spot right down to the wire. Goes to the 27 of Kramer. Wegman, the 88 of Wolfie, 3rd. Then comes Gruning and Williamson back in spots 4 and 5.
Second 4-cycle qualifying heat event getting lined up down there in the staging area. When they come out to the speedway, they'll be lined up something like this. Your pole sitter from right here in Middletown, the number 8 of Eric Lindahl, alongside Eric, the number 05 of Jerry McMullen. Row number 2 in 3rd spot from Rock Tavern, New York, the number 13 of Roy Galuski. Alongside Roy from here in Middletown, the number 16X of Danny Frieden. Row number 3, 5th spot, the number 72 will be Denise Diotti, that is, and alongside Denise, the number 25 of Mike Kolka. 7th position, the number 13 of Fred Dittner from Albany, New York, alongside Fred, the number 2 of George Alicia out of nearby Poughkeepsie. 9th position, a pace lap. It certainly does not take long at all to get the carts lined up in their proper starting order. And of course, not a full lap is needed at all for a pace lap. Here is we're accustomed to seeing on a regular Saturday night basis. Caution lights get turned out. The Olson Todd pace car down to the inside. Eric Lindahl in cart number 8 will show the way in turns number 3 and 4.
Down off of turn number 4, they're already 3 wide. The cart that started 3rd, that's Roy Galuski. Well, he's a little bit anxious. Rapid Roy pops out to the number 1 spot as they go way ahead of down to turn number 1. The 72 up on the number 1 spot right now. That's Denise Diotti. Diotti hangs on to the number 1 spot, but the 05 of Gary McMullen pops it down on the other side and picks up the number 1 spot.
Diotti will lead the way on a turn number 2 this time. And Denise Diotti back there, the number 72 card, showing the way 3 wide down the back straightaway. And the 05 of Gary McMullen gets some visitors in that second place battle.
All the way up to spot number 2 already from starting dead last. Here comes the 45 out of Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, Jason Wagner. Looking strong here in the early going. Picks up the number 1 spot as they bump, they touch, they get it all straight down. But Jason Wagner way down and off the pace, drops it down to the bottom side. Off he goes. Galuski sits up in spot number 2.
Tough break for Wagner. He tapped wheels with Galuski coming down the straightaway, and that left him high and dry. The power gone out of that go-kart.
Toby Farber in the 300, also off the pace down here in the front straightaway. A little bit of debris being picked up right now as your leaders take it down through turns number 3 and 4. Roy Galuski runs up in spot number 3 on the outside. Your leader coming down the front straightaway. Now drops it down to the bottom side. The number 1 man is the 25, and that would be Mike Coca. Coca hangs on to the number 1 spot with the 05 of Gary McMullen second, and now Jason Rowe in the number 97, looking strong and looking alive in the number 3 spot.
Galuski picks up the number 3 spot off and doing it down the back straightaway.
Galuski's full. Jason Rowe.
1 car dropping off the pace. Start dropping off the pace down there in turn number 3. They'll get around it this time, and they go hard into turn number 4. Everybody choosing a lane of traffic, and they go up to the outside part of the speedway.
Down off the turn number 4, your leaders will bring them by. Will be anybody's guess as 3 cars go for it. Jason Rowe picks up the number 1 spot. Here comes the number 25 down to the bottom side, and here comes Eric Lindahl way down on the bottom side, leaning as far as he can to the left and picking up the number 2 spot.
Lindahl rebounding after starting up in the number 1 position in this qualifying heat event. He gets some company down the back straightaway. 5 cars fight for the number 2 position.
Mike Copeland now picks up that number 2 spot in the number 25 machine. And 4 cars, look out for Roy Galuski. Galuski gets it around up in turns 3 and 4. Now he fires it up. Another car also off the base. Jason Rowe is your leader. Then comes Coca. Lindahl in the 05 of McMullen, your top 4. And 5th place coming by the line would be the number 6 up there, Picciano.
Well, the attrition rate very high in this second qualifying heat event. Down the back straightaway once again, showing the way Jason Rowe out of nearby Goshen, New York. Second spot, still the number 25 of Mike Coca. Third, the number 8 is Eric Lindahl. Good rebound from back in the tail side of this event.
Your leader down off of turn number 4, Jason Rowe out of Goshen, New York, running strong up on the number 1 spot. Holds on to about a 10-cart length advantage now over the number 25 of Mike Coca. Coca running back in that number 2 spot. Then will be the 06 is Eric Lindahl. Now drops off the pace in the Super 8, number 8 machine.
Tough break for the young Toby Farber from here, Middletown, New York, in the number 300 cart. Got lapped out there just a little while ago. Usually a good runner here in the go-kart division.
Jason Rowe stretching it out way out front right now. Half a straightaway advantage over the number 25 of Mike Coca. Both youngsters here. Jason Rowe, about 14 years old. Michael Coca, 17 years of age. Running strong here in the full-cycle division. Third would be Gary McMullen in the 05 as he goes by into turn number 1 right now.
So Jason Rowe on a turn number 2, uncontested so far. Down the back straightaway, second spot, it's still the number 25 of Mike Coca, and third, the 05 of Gary McMullen. Fourth spot, by the way, would be the number 6 of Phil Picciano.
As your leader comes down off of turn number 4, way out front, stretching it out, lap after lap. The white flag is out right now. He takes it down into turn number 1. That's Jason Rowe. Michael Coca sits back in spot 2. McMullen is third. Picciano's fourth down off of turn number 4. And Roy Galuski, even though he went around earlier, has regained composure and now runs back in spot number 5. Looks for spot 4.
Galuski going to fire it up down to the inside part of turn number 1 as he grabs the number 4 spot. Picciano back there in spot number 5.
Down off of turn number 4, checkered flag, set the fly. Winner of the full-cycle heat number 2 out of Goshen, New York comes the number 97 of Jason Rowe. Rowe way out front with the victory. Second goes to the 25 of Mike Coca. Third to the 05 of Gary McMullen. Now fourth place comes down off of turn number 4. That would be the 13 of Roy Galuski, and then would be the 6 of Picciano. The Green's auto body number 15 out of Slate Hill, New York, is Tommy Green. Row 2 on the inside, spot number 3 goes to the 86 out of Armonk, New York. That's Craig Husted. And alongside of him, out of Cornwall on the Hudson, the Bruce F. Bryan Agency, Peekskill Electric 65 of John Hager. Row number 3 would go to the 28 of Phil Sopolis. And alongside of him, the Burns Towing and Recovery number 7 of Tommy Byrne. Row number 4 on the inside, 3-time feature winner in 94 of Harriman, New York. The Chris Wendt Construction, Coca-Cola, CB Trucking, 7H of Danny Hedges. Alongside of him, out of Mayopack, New York, the Taylor Taxi, mild-mannered Wayne Taylor. Row number 5 on the inside, out of Bloomingburg, New York, goes to the 77L of Lee Crutch. And alongside of him, out of Greenville, New York, the Gerda Oro, K&G Farm Equipment, 55X of Barry Filipowski. Then your final row, row number 6, spot number 11, out of Lake Carmel, New York, the D&M Kitchen and Bath, number 92 of Frank Jordan, and alongside of him, the 608, the Highland Auto Body sponsored mount, that would be a Win Billieu. 12.
And of course, the winner of each of these heat events gets a direct transfer spot right into the big street stock dash for cash tonight, brought to us once again by Carol Birchwell Racing Enterprises in association with D&M Tank Cleaning from Saddlebrook, New Jersey. A total of $1,090 will be the payoff for the very impressive street stock dash for cash. It'll probably be 4 of the fastest laps you will see for street stocks here in the entire 1994 racing season. Caution lights have now been turned out. The Olson Todd pace car drops down to the inside. We get set to go racing straight stock style for the first of 4 qualifying heat events.
Pat Kelly down on the bottom side, Tommy Green on the outside. These guys know to keep it side by side in rows of 2 until they reach the start-finish line. They bring it down off the turn number 4. Kelly out of Pine Bush, New York, rips it up, but Green from the outside begins to tear it up off of the outside, picking up the number 1 spot goes Tommy Green.
Tommy Green from the outside will show the way this time as they get out the back straightaway, and Pat Kelly fights with Hager in the number 2 spot. Kelly on the inside down the back straightaway, and Johnny Hager firing out the old dusty 65X car. He takes over spot number 2.
Hager running strong up off the turn number 4, but right now he's chasing Tommy Green. Green leads him down the front straightaway, begins to pull away just a little bit as Pat Kelly runs back in spot 3 with Craig Husted and Tommy Byrne going at it for spot number 4.
Kelly once again shows the way. Look out for the number 7X of Hedges down there in turn number 1 and 2. Caution lights will come on the 7H car. Danny Hedges in trouble as he taps that concrete. He hit the buffer wall first, and that shot him straight into the concrete between turns number 1 and 2. 2 laps have been scored. 2 down, 6 to go. The first qualifying heat event for the street stocks out here this evening. Tommy Green, your current race leader out of nearby Slate Hill, New York. 2 down, 6 to go. Double file restart. We see Tommy Green opting to go racing on the outside of row number 1, and we saw right off the get-go that the outside row went racing very quickly. That was the row that moved up into the number 1 and 2 spots right off the green flag.
Tommy Green, in his second year of competition, finished 3rd in the point rundown last year in the rookie division out of Slate Hill, New York. Now, John Hager, going back about 4 weeks ago, won the D&M Tank Cleaning $1,090 to win a rookie street stock feature event. So he's no stranger to picking up some money courtesy of D&M Tank Cleaning and, of course, Carol Birchwell Racing Enterprises.
Of course, Johnny and Jeff Hager brought out both of their pieces of racing machinery tonight. They dusted off the old Oldsmobile. We saw that out here earlier this evening, and they'll be going racing in a 4th qualifying heat event. Caution lights now get turned out. The Olson Todd pace car drops down to the inside. Tommy Green from the outside will show the way out of turn number 4.
Green up on the high side, Hager on the low side. The green flag flies down the front straightaway. Green able to power out to the number 1 spot. Hager trying to keep it strong down on the bottom side. But here comes Tommy Burns battling for that number 2 spot up on the outside.
Wayne Taylor showing some muscle from the outside groove once again as he takes over the number 2 spot. Down the back straightaway, they fight for the number 2 spot. It's Hager on the inside, Burns on the outside, point of turn number 3.
Hager goes in hard on the bottom side. He had to get on the binders. Burns kept the RPMs up on the outside and blows by now, takes over spot number 2. Hager stuck down on the low side. Here comes mild-mannered Wayne Taylor, whipping it up on the outside, trying to pick up spot number 2.
Meanwhile, Tommy Green failing to be intimidated. He shows the way, leads them quick. 3 cars will fight for the number 2 spot. They bobble, burn around sideways. Filipowski head on down the back straightaway.
Cross Caution lights get set to fly now as they're still moving out on the backstretch right now. Leaders bring it down off of turn number 4. The caution light is out as Tommy Green goes by.
Top break for the top 3 runners, of course, with the exception of leader Tommy Green, but Johnny Hager in the number 65 X car. It all started, he got a little bit sideways, and of course Barry Filipowski, we see he does pull away right now under his own power after a real minor head-on tap going midway down the back straightaway.
4 laps have been scored, 4 down and 4 to go at the halfway point.
The first of 4 qualifying heat events, as they're going through a very big weekend of racing up there in the Lebanon Valley High Banks. So the Lebanon Valley 200 coming off tomorrow afternoon. 12 o'clock, the warm-ups begin at the Lebanon Valley Speedway. 1 o'clock, the first official green flag will fly. Caution lights get turned out. The Olson Todd pace car drops down to the inside. Single file restart. Tommy Green will bring that pack down out of turn number 4 this time. Wayne Taylor back there in the number 2 spot. Frank Usted showing the way back there in spot number 3.
Down by the start finish line, Tommy Green hangs on to the number 1 spot. Taylor knows that Green was running the high side. He's going to have to try and make the move on the bottom side, but not able to do so this time is Green. Outpowers him down the back straightaway.
Frank Jordan back there in the number 5 spot. He feels the heat right now from Johnny Hager rebounding from the tail side of the field, and that Oldsmobile showing some muscle on the inside groove.
Barry Filipowski bonds-eyeing it through 3 and 4, tried to make it work, tried to make it stick, and all he stuck was the outside wall. Tough break for him now as he comes to a stop on the outside of turn number 4. He slowly brings it down the front straightaway. Kenny Marshall tries to get him to move down the bottom side and does so.
Filipowski may have had some problems from that last mishap. You never know, something in the steering could have gotten sideline as he went into turn 3 and 4 very, very hard and kind of awkwardly at that. Great job on a turn number 4 this time. The 2-lap sign is given.
6 laps down, 2 to go. Race leader Tommy Green. He's been there every drop of the way so far. Wayne Taylor sitting back in spot 2 with Craig Usted. Holding on to the number 3 position, Pat Kelly, Jeff Hager, and the 92 of Frank Jordan. Battle for the final transfer spot.
3-way battle for the number 4 spot. Kelly leads the way in that 3-car draw in the number 4 spot. Hager back there in spot number 5. Frank Jordan left down the draw in spot number 6. Here we go. White flag. One more time around.
7 laps have been scored. Tommy Green tearing it up down the front straightaway. Holding on to that number 1 spot. Wayne Taylor futilely giving chase back for spot 2 with Craig Houston running at the top 3 running order.
Green rallies up to the outside part of the speedway, showing the way on the high groove. Taylor second. Houston third. They'll fight for the number 4 spot. Third on the high side. Hager down to the inside.
Down off the turns 3 and 4. Your leader coming down to complete the final lap. Checkered flag is out. Winner of heat number 1 out of Slate Hill, New York. The Green's auto body number 15, Tommy Green. Second goes to Wayne Taylor. Third to Craig Houston. Fourth to Pat Kelly. And fifth to John Hager.
Winner once again in the first qualifying heat event, the number 15 of Tommy Green. Second spot, Wayne Taylor. Third, Craig Houston. Fourth, Pat Kelly. And fifth, the 65X of John Hager. So Tommy Green getting that direct transfer spot right to the big street stock dash for cash tonight. Brought to us once again by Gerald Birchwell Racing and, of course, D&M Tank Cleaning. Second heat ready to go. Here's Rick to tell you more.
Out of Mailpack, New York, the Bryson Sewing number 80 of Paul Bryson goes up on the pole. Alongside of him out of Westwood, New Jersey, the El Bandito Restaurant, 94 of Dara Pikett. Row number 2 out of Lake Carmel, New York, the Bob's Auto Parts, number 317 of John Platania. And alongside of him out of Poughkeepsie, New York, the Al Smith Excavating, 819 of Al Smith. Row number 3, scheduled to go in spot number 5, would be the 711X of Michael Williams. And alongside, scheduled to go in spot number 6 out of Bedford Hills, New York, the 21-hour Furrow, Marco Rutherford. Row number 4, spot number 7 out of Poughkeepsie, New York, driving the Allen's Auto Body, number 4H is Alan Hotailing. And alongside of him, the Pine Bush Equipment, number 119 of Steve Huffcrust. Row number 5, spot number 9 out of Polkwa, New York, the K&J House Painting, Size Ceiling and Pavement, 19J of Jeff Hyham, and alongside of him, the CV Automotive Machine Shop, CV of Steve Osterhout. Row 6 goes to the 27 of Pete Van Arsdale, and the 62 out of Peekskill, New York, the Perico Gas Motorsports, sponsored out of Bill Pasquale. Andy Dembeck scheduled to go back in spot number 13 in car 23. 12 cars have answered the call. Dembeck not able to show up on the field right now. Getting set to qualify here in heat number 2.
Second qualifying heat event, 8 laps in nature, 5 cars. Get the direct transfer spot right to the 20-lap street stock feature event.
A pair of rookies here in the 94 season running in the rookie class. Sit up on the number 1 row right now. Paul Bryson, Dara Pickett, boy versus girl, side by side. Down into turn number 1. Bryson on the bottom side. Hangs on to the number 1 spot as he and Pickett touch. They get the bumpers hooked just for a 12 minutes. They get it all torn out now. Down off of turn number 2. Bryson off the high side, losing a lot of ground. Down the back stretch. Is he enough to look out for the 62 of Phil Pasquale? Pasquale getting it around down the back straightaway. Caution will fly off at turn number 4.
Tough break for the number 62 as he got caught in the thick of things midway down the back straightaway. Everybody scrambled out of turn number 2 and tried to straighten themselves back out. But, of course, Phil Pasquale felt the worst of that brunt. As the caution lights have not come out, we're still racing down the back straightaway with Platania holding on to the number 1 spot.
John Platania out of Lake Carmel, New York, bolsters out to the number 1 spot. Here comes Al Smith sitting right back there on the hot seat. Spot number 2. Alan Hoteling, very sparse runner here in the 94 season, sits back in the number 3 position. He comes out of front Poughkeepsie, New York. Dara Pickett holding out of spot number 4, and Paul Bryson sitting back in spot number 5.
So Bryson rebounding after that first lap hookup with Dara Pickett. Dara is leading, of course, that 2-car draw down the back straightaway. Up there in spot number 4. Bryson, the man in the hot seat, back there, that final transfer spot.
Down off of turn number 4, John Platania currently runs second in Novice Street Stock points. Heading into tonight's final point race for them. Looks up to the number 1 turn right now, stretching it out over Al Smith, who sits back in spot number 2.
Platania dances up to the rim shot on a turn number 2 this time. He holds on to a very convincing lead. Now 3 cars going to fight for the number 4 spot. Bryson leads that draw on a turn number 2. Darren Pickett back there in spot number 5, followed by the number 19 of Jeff Hyham.
Hyham looks to go racing for the final transfer spot. Right now, Darren Pickett hangs on to a Hyham right there on the shadow up at turn number 4. John Platania easily outdistancing the second place man, Al Smith. Smith running strong back in the number 2 spot with Hoteling third. Paul Bryson at 4th, and out Jeff Hyham slides it down the bottom side and picks up spot number 5.
Hyham muscling his way onto the inside lane, coming out of turn number 2 this time. Holds on to that final transfer spot. Paul Bryson might be his next victim down the back straightaway as he sets up sail to take over spot number 4.
John Platania strong down the front straightaway. Multi-time feature winner through the years. A lot of years of experience underneath the driving suit of that 317. Stretching it out right now. Al Smith sitting back in spot number 2. A very strong rookie here in the 94 season in the runner-up spot.
Bryson gone racing with Hyham for the number 4 place position right now. And look out for number 4 of Hoteling. He's in trouble as he gets back down on all 4s.
Hoteling gets it back down as he drops it down to the bottom side. The leader goes by the start-finish line. Platania way out front right now, cruising around. Tough break for Hoteling, who was running in a qualifying spot. Now back out of that position.
Bryson back there in the number 3 spot. Hyham fourth, and Dara Pickett, the El Bandito Restaurant, number 94 car. Riley's back there in the number 5 position.
Down the front straightaway comes your leader right now down off of turn number 4. John Platania going to see the white flag flying one more time, and Platania gets by the loud traffic of George Van Arsdale down into turn number 1. Second place, Al Smith goes by right now. Third place is where the battle is. Paul Bryson has the spot on the outside. Hyham drives it in deep on the bottom side, looking to go racing.
Hyham on the inside, Bryson on the outside. Wheel to wheel, they'll fight for the number 3 spot. Hyham going to show the way out of turn number 2 this time, but Bryson rebounds to the outside. Pickett back there in the number 5 spot. They'll pitch it right down to the wire.
Checkered flag flies. Winner of heat number 2 goes to the Bob's Auto Parts 317, John Platania. Second place coming down the front straightaway would be the 819 of Al Smith. Close at the wire for third goes to the 19, J. Jeff Hyham. Then the 80 of Paul Bryson, and Dara Pickett rounds out the top 5 running order.
Winner once again of the second qualifying heat event, the number 317 of John Platania. Al Smith second, Jeff Hyham third, Paul Bryson is fourth, and Dara Pickett rounds out the top 5 running order. Third qualifying heat event, getting set to go down to the second turn area. Here's Rick to tell you more.
Mike Pomerico out of Beacon, New York. The man's painting auto body number 1 starts on the pole. Scott Kerr out of Hillsdale, New Jersey with the Bulldog Sanitation number 2. 442 starts in second. Third spot goes to the 04 out of Newburgh, New York, Frank Tomorrow. And Steve Galgano out of Wingdale, New York goes in spot number 4. Row number 3 on the inside out of Lake Carmel, New York. The Brewster Sewer and Drain number 5 of Kathy Toth. And alongside of him out of Pauling, New York, the Timmy Green in the B&D Cars and Comics number 25. Jerry Lorenzo in the Middletown Car Wash goes in spot number 7 with Chuck Mutkowski in the Kaufman Auto Parts 84 and 8. Row number 5, spot number 9, the 711 of Tony Loto out of White Plains, New York takes that position. John Bryson out of Mahopac, New York with the Bryson Sewing 66 goes in spot 10. Pedro Soto back in spot number 11. Then comes Ken Pettit in the 16 and the J73 of Andy Majatko holding on to spot 13.
lights have now been turned out. The Olson Todd Cutlass Supreme pace car drops down to the inside. Third qualifying heat event now on tap for the Street Stock Division out here this evening.
Pair of yellow cars sit up on the front row. Mike Pomerico, Scott Kerr. Kerr, your current number one man and now Street Stock points, leads him down the front straightaway side by side. He and Pomerico bring it down into turn number one. Kerr loves to run the high side, drives it in hard, takes it in deep, up on the outside, coming off of turn two and grabs the number one spot.
Kerr winds it up to the rim shot, grabbing the number one spot. Butters down the back straightaway, says bye-bye for the rest of the qualifying field. Mike Pomerico down the inside, and they battle right now for the number three spot.
Pomerico holds on to that runner-up spot right now, down off of turn number four. Comes your leader, Scott Kerr. Steve Galgano in the 174, looking to take that number two spot away as Frank DeMauro and Timmy Green mix it up for spot number four.
Only 5 cars will go to the feature event. Frank Pomerico on to the inside, the number 04 junior car. DeMauro showing the way down the back straightaway, but the caution, lights, come on.
We've got one sitting down in turns number 3 and 4 down on the low side. That's the number 73 of Andy Matko. Matko in the wrong direction.
2 laps up and scored, 2 down and 6 to go. The third qualifying event. Scott Kerr, your current race leader. Mike Pomerico running back there in the number 1 car, rides in spot number 2. Third place is still Steve Galgano behind the number, showing the way on the inside of turn number 3.
Kerr knows it's time to go racing up in turn number 4. He elected to start on the outside. He's your pole setter, Stevie Galgano right behind. As Lorenzo right walls it down the front straightaway, straightens it all out right now. Down into turn number 1. 3 cars go for the number 2 spot, and Stevie Galgano picks it up right now.
Outside row is moving. Mike Pomerico losing several spots out of turn number 2. Carroll lead the way down the back straightaway. Galgano second, Green third. And DeMauro back there in spot number 4.
Frankie DeMauro out of Newburgh, New York, the Ford Mustang 04. Sits back in spot number 4. One around up in turn 4. Yes, the leaders go by the start finish line. Kerr takes it in deep up on the outside, sliding it sideways. Start tracking it off of turn 2. Stevie Galgano picks up the number 1 spot. And Ken Pettit makes some contact with the outside wall down at turn number 2.
Caution lights will come on for the number 16 of Ken Pettit as they drive hard down there in turns number 3 and 4. Pettit comes to a rest on the outside of turn number 2. Caution lights on at the halfway point. A 2-time celebration and feature event Victory Lane this year. 2-time novice feature event winner in the 94 racing season, having his side Steve Galgano aboard the number 174 car from Wingdale, New York. He'll show the way coming out of turn number 4 this time.
Stevie Galgano powers him down the front straightaway. Kerr on the outside. Now Timmy Green out of Pauling, New York. The Cookie Monster number 25 sets tail down on the bottom side. Kerr looks to go racing off of turn 2 on the low side.
Kerr puts the nose under the inside. Galgano will lead the drag race down the back straightaway. Green holds on to the number 3 spot. Jerry Lorenzo back there in the number 4 spot aboard car number 10.
The Middletown Car Wash number 10 sets sights up on spot number 3 right now, but he's got some experience up ahead of him. Scott Kerr and Timmy Green, both former novice Street Stock Point champions. Stevie Galgano, a former rookie Street Stock Point champion. All running strong up in spots number 1, 2, and 3.
Galgano and Kerr nose and tail right now as they come out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. They'll choose a drafting partner down the back stretch. Timmy Green still third. Jerry Lorenzo back in spot number 4. 1 car sideways coming out of turn number 2. That is the number 1 of Mike Pomerico. And that will bring out the caution as he is not moving coming out of turn number 2. 6 down. Caution, lights come on.
He already has a victory in the qualifying heat number 2.
Meanwhile, the caution lights get turned down. The Olson Todd Cutlass Supreme pace car down to the inside. Steve Galgano will now show the way on a turn number 4.
Galgano's already on the throttle. Kerr tries to catch him napping, catch him sleeping down the bottom side. Kerr looks to go racing, trying to get that number 1 spot back. Keeps it down on the bottom side. Galgano center lines it through turns number 1 and 2 and outpowers him down the back straightaway.
Kerr tries to light up the inside. It's the only way he's going to get around Galgano. The inside, not the fast way around tonight, but Kerr tries to put some life down to the inside. Green follows suit back in spot number 3.
Down off of turn number 4. Kerr going to give it a last ditch effort with the white flag. Set the fly. 4 more. That 10 turns as they center line it down the front straightaway. Green looks up to the outside. Kerr also right there. Chucked on the back bumper. Bumper to bumper to bumper. Off of turn number 2 they go.
Last lap racing action. Top 3 campaigners will lead the way out of turn number 2 this time. Galgano knows the heat is on. Kerr looks up to the outside. Slingshot down to the inside. 2 more left turns. It'll go right down to the checker. checkered.
Right down to the checkered flag, it will be close racing for the number 1 spot. Down off the turn number 4, the checkered flag flies winner of heat number 3 out of Wingdale, New York, the 174, Steve Calgano. Second goes to Scott Kerr, third to Timmy Green, and fourth to Jerry Lorenzo.
Winner once again of that third qualifying heat event, the number 174, Steve Calgano. Second spot was Scotty Kerr, third Timmy Green, and fourth Jerry Lorenzo. Fourth qualifying heat event. Setting bound to the Speedway, here's Rick to tell you more.
Starting up on the pole out of Pine Bush, New York, will be the Thorndale Farm. Speed Peaks at 2, number 34 of Chris DuBois. Alongside of him, the 1994 Rookie Point Champion out of Middletown, New York, and the Apple Restoration and Waterproofing, number 6, Tommy Denbeck. Row 2, spot number 3, goes to the 51F of Scott Cusick, and alongside of him, the 58 of Bill Pasquale. Row number 3 on the inside out of Mahopac, New York, the Mahopac Collision 777 of Glenn Cargain, and alongside of him out of Brewster, New York, the Southeast Auto Recyclers, number 11 of Tommy Mill. Row 4, spot number 7 out of Monroe, New York, the Lake Region Tire Center, Mr. Cone Ice Cream, 33H of Edgar Hedges, and spot number 8 goes to the Eastern Oil Leisure Time Spring Water, number 12 out of Peekskill, New York, Rocky Picciano. Row number 5, spot number 9 out of Washingtonville, New York, the 35 of Robbie Andrews, and the 65 of Jeff Hager. Row 6, spot number 11 goes to the 02 of Ron Irvin, and alongside of him, the Puffs Auto Body, number 39 of Puppy, Kurt Puff. And Bill Leeser in the 91X starts at the tail end of the field. 15 cars scheduled to go in the final qualifying heat for the Street Dogs.
Very quick pace lap down the back straightaway. The Olson Todd pace car off to the inside. Caution lights get turned out. Chris DuBois out of Pine Bush will show the way. Aboard car number 34 off to the inside corner. Fourth qualifying heat event now on tap.
Chris DuBois, Tommy Denbeck, side by side, down into turn number 1. DuBois down on the bottom side. Denbeck drives it in deep, slams it into third gear, hops it up to the outside, tries to outmaneuver DuBois off of turn 2. He and DuBois touch for just a moment, but Denbeck able to outpower him down the back straightaway.
Denbeck follows up to the lead, but the 34 car backs out of it. Chris DuBois holds on to the second spot. Scott Cusick back there fights for the number 3 position.
Tommy Denbeck, the Apple Restoration and Waterproofing number 6, brings him down the front straightaway, beginning to stretch it out just a little bit over Chris DuBois, who sits back at spot number 2. DuBois, the Pete's Pizza 2, Thorndale Farms number 34, howking it down into turn number 2. Look out, Puppy gets it sideways and straightens it all out.
Down the back straightaway we're race this time. Scotty Bill gets up to the number 11 of Tommy Bill, gets up to the number 4 position as he now pulls away from that 3-car duel for the number 5 spot.
Edgar Hedges way up high in turn number 4. Well, he follows Danny's lead and makes contact with the outside wall. Caution flag set to fly yellow once again around the speedway.
Tough break for the number 33H car of Edgar Hedges out of Monroe, New York. Of course, his brother just met the concrete just a couple of seconds ago. Speedway, but of course we just mentioned that the leader now rests on the outside of row number 1, and that is the number 6 of Tommy Denbeck. Fourth position, Scotty Bill. Tommy Bill, he's moved up through the pack very quickly. He started this event in spot number 6. He's now up there in the number 4 spot. And of course, Jeff Hager, dusting off the old Oldsmobile, moves up to the number 5 spot right now. Needs one more spot to pick up a qualifying position. On the outside of row number 3, the 58, that is Bill Pasquale. The Pasquale Auto Body Racing Team.
He probably did some domino work in that car at one time or another.
Caution lights have now been turned out. The Olson Todd pace car moves down to the inside of row number 3.
Down off the turn number 4, Denbeck on the outside. He is your race leader. DuBois tries to ride him up just a little bit. They come by the start-finish line on a dead even terms. Denbeck on the outside slams the girl shut, cuts down the Grove and Keith. Back up in the number 1 spot. Pasquale says, ouch, how do you do? Outside wall.
Pasquale sliding into the buffer wall. Down in turn number 1. The caution lights will come on. Maybe not. Pasquale fires it back up, and he moves away under his own power. After coming into hard contact with that buffer wall, only sheet metal damage as Denbeck leads the way down the home straightaway.
Denbeck is strong, but DuBois sucking right there back in spot number 2, tagging right along, working down to the bottom side. Denbeck closes the door on him as they come down off of turn 2, as DuBois really applying the pressure to Denbeck down into turn number 3.
Chris DuBois, a very talented Street South campaigner. Rocky Picciano now enters the qualifying picture on the inside of turn number 3.
Tommy Denbeck up on the high side of turn number 4, the halfway point is up. Look out for Scott Cusick, hard in the wall down at turn number 4 on the inside. He keeps it rolling and tucks it down off for the out of harm's way. Leaders come down off of turn number 2.
Pasquale drops off the pace. The leaders go up to the outside part of the speedway. Denbeck leads him down the back shoot. Du Bois right there in second. Bill third. Picciano right there within shooting distance in spot number 4.
Chris Du Bois trying to set up Dembeck now through the turn, drops it down to the bottom side. Dembeck keeps it up on the outside. Du Bois on the low side by side to that number 1 spot. Dembeck closes the groove off, slams the door, now pushes just a little bit through turns 1 and 2.
Dembeck keeps the muscle to the outside. Rim rides on a turn number 2 and leads the way down the back straightaway. Du Bois still second. Picciano now third, and Bill back there in the number 4 position.
Rocky Picciano picks up spot number 3, the Eastern Oil number 12. They bring it down off of turn number 4. 6 laps have been scored, and it's very, very close to number 1 and 2 spot. Bumper to bumper, nose to tail, down into turn number 1. Dembeck slides down, holding down to the low side groove this time. As Du Bois taps him just a second. Now tries to swoop under him off of turn 2.
Du Bois slingshots off to the inside, puts the nose down where no man has gone so far tonight. But Dembeck fights him down to turn number 3.
Tommy Dembeck not used to being passed here in the 94 season in the rookie division. Now testing his skills with the novice drivers. Keeps it up on the outside. Du Bois trying to work hard. Very, very close. And here comes Rocky Picciano closing in as well.
3 cars will fight for the number 1 spot. Time winds down. The final tour of duty down the back straightaway. Dembeck leads the 3-car draw. Du Bois right there in the rocking chair position, and Picciano don't count him out of a last learned maneuver.
Du Bois ran just a little bit too hard, got it sideways. That allowed Dembeck to pull just a little bit away. Here comes the winner of the upper restoration and waterproofing, number 6, Tommy Dembeck. Second goes to Chris Du Bois. Third to Rocky Picciano, and fourth to Tommy Merrill.
Winner once again of that 4th qualifying heat event, the number 6 of Tom Dembeck. Second spot, the number 34 of Chris Du Bois. Third, once again, the number 12 of Rocky Picciano. And 4th, the number 11 of Tommy Mill. Feature event time. The Orange County 5/8 mile racing go-kart season. Mark LePan will be your pole sitter for this 15-lap feature event. Jason Rowe on the outside aboard cart number 97. Paul Wolf will be on the inside, cart number 88. As the Olsen Todd pace car drops down to the inside, we get set to go racing go-kart action.
Down off of turn number 4, the 4 cycle cars, 3, 4, 5, 6, and even 7 line down the front straightaway. Michael Coca out in the number 1 spot in the 25 as everybody looks for racing room down the front straightaway. But Mark LePan comes out on top in the number 9 machine, followed by Wolfie in the 88, and then would come Michael Coca in the 25.
Coca, the 25 car, stealing the heat down the back straightaway. A freight train rolling right behind him, and they stick their nose down to the inside. Top 2, nose and tail hard into turns number 3 and 4.
Mark LePan, winner of the heat event a little bit earlier on, brings him down off of turn number 4. One of them with a hand up in the air, letting him know to go by. He's in trouble, and it's definitely not Mark LePan. LePan and Wolf, 1 and 2, second, third spot would be the 21, then the 25, and the 13 of Galuski back in spot number 5.
Galuski onto the inside, picks up the number 4 spot this time as we work our way out of turn number 2. LePan will lead the way down the back straightaway. Second spot still the number 88 car to Mark Wolf.
Mark LePan and Paul Wolf, spots number 1 and 2. Galuski now down, way down on the bottom side off the turn. Number 4, 3 wide, picks up the number 3 position. Does Rapid Roy Galuski on the bottom side. Jason Rowe now in the number 97 machine. Looks to take it down lower than he, and goes by Galuski on the low side.
The low side, certainly the quick way around the 5/8 mile. Just as an opposite turn of events right now for the street stocks we saw just a couple of minutes ago. But the inside, very low down to the inside. That's the way to go. LePan leads the pace. Hard into turns number 3 and 4, driving a beautiful groove. He goes up to the outside part of the speedway. Watch him this time coming out of turn number 4.
Extremely high down the front straightaway goes LePan and Wolf. Here comes Jason Rowe to the bottom side. $500 going out to the winner and right now. Mark LePan fending off Paul Wolf, but Jason Rowe getting quicker.
Jason Rowe, winner of that second qualifying heat event. He comes out of turn number 2 this time. He looks down to the inside. They drag race for the number 2 spot. Bottom outside is open for a feature takeover. Here comes Rowe up to the number 1 position.
Young Jason Rowe brings it down off of turn number 4 with the top 3 positions very close, but Rowe leads him down the front straightaway, holding on to the number 1 spot. Now back down to the bottom side goes Mark LePan, side by side for the number 1 spot. LePan and Wolf drafting by Jason Rowe and picking up spots number 1 and 2.
LePan got the edge going into turns 1 and 2 for that inside groove, and that is the fast way around for the racing go-kart. Paul Wolf still second. Jason Rowe back to the number 3 spot. Rowe tries the rebound. Top 2 cars virtually glued together. Wolf looks down to the inside. LePan leads the way hard into turns number 3 and 4.
Jason Rowe back in spot number 3. Then comes Mike Coca in the 25 and Mark Smith rounding out the top 5 running order down the front straightaway. Now Mark Smith has picked up the draft as well. 4 cars. Bumper down to turn number 1 and 2 they go.
Talk about tight racing action. Now down to the inside. Guide Mike Coca. He attempts to take over spot number 2 aboard car number 25.
Down the back straightaway, Mark LePan still hanging on to the number 1 spot. 4 cars look for the number 1 spot. Very, very close, tight racing action. Down off of turn number 4. Mark LePan up on the outside as they come 3 wide down the front straightaway to complete lap number 6. The halfway point is up. Jason Rowe now picks up the number 1 spot. But here comes Mark LePan and Mark Smith now down to the bottom side.
Well, just a lap ago, it looked like Jason Rowe may have been experiencing some problems, but he fought back up to it. The caution lights come on. Caution lights come on around the speedway. We do need to let the ambulance out of the infield area. And we have to let the Elliott Ambulance Service leave the speedway, so the caution lights must come on to allow the ambulance access out of the pit area. Onto the speedway right now, as the number 92 will take him down there. That's Mark Smith grabs that early race lead. 6 laps have now been complete.
Mark Smith leads him down the back straightaway. Then comes the number 25, and that would be Mike Coca. Coca, the young 17-year-old out of Montgomery, New York. Sucking right back there in spot number 2, closing right in on Mark Smith. Bumper to bumper down off of turn number 4. Smith leads him down the front straightaway. Coca giving chase. They lead him by the start-finish line, but here comes Mark LePan entering the picture. LePan and Wolf, they've been drafting with each other the entire race. Now sits back by spots number 3 and 4.
Draft is certainly the name of the game out here tonight for these little racing go-karts. You wouldn't think it, but it has a major, major advantage. Mark Smith down the back straightaway. Coca second, LePan third, and Wolf back there in spot number 4.
They go nose to tail down through turns number 3 and 4, coming down off the turn number 4. Coming down the front straightaway, halfway up is up to the field. 8 laps have been scored, 7 more to go. 4 cars very, very close. 3 wide in the clear. Number 1, Mark Smith hangs on to it. They touch just a little bit, and into the number 1 spot. Back goes the number 90 of Mark LePan.
LePan found himself on the inside, going into turn number 1, and that's where you want to be. Wolf back there in second. Coca right down in third. He looks down to the inside. He'll try to make it a race on the inside, going into turn number 3.
Down off of turn number 4. Berluski drops off the pace up in turn number 3. Tough break for Rapid Roar. Meanwhile, the leaders bring it down the front straightaway. Mark LePan up on that number 1 spot. He and Wolf are hooked up together, pushing and driving it hard deep down into turns number 1 and 2.
Top 2 cars take themselves down to the inside of turn number 2. They corner their way out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Coca still third. Smith is fourth. Down the back chute. LePan will show the way. Watch the race for the inside groove going into turn number 3.
Down off of turn number 4, your leaders are nose to tail. They're staying that way. They're going to be coming up on the back markers now as they bring it down the front straightaway off of turn number 4. LePan hanging on to it. We'll be back there in second. Here comes Mike Coca and Mark Smith. Now they've hooked up in a draft as we've got them going into lap traffic. 2 abreast, side by side for spots number 1, 2, 3, and 4.
2 drafting partnerships to the inside one once again. Won that 4-car battle as Coca takes off down the back straightaway with Smith tailing right in spot number 2.
Coke and Smith, bumper to bumper now in between turns 3 and 4. Coke out of Montgomery, New York. Smith from right here in Middletown, New York. Couple of local guys running hard up a turn number 4. They bring it down the front straightaway. Coke leads them by. Smith right there for spot 2. LePain and Wolf still drafting together down the front straightaway. And the 05 of Gary McMullen, a poor guy. No drafting partner. All by his lonesome back there, spot 5.
Don't count out Jason Rill back there, the number 6 spot aboard cart number 97. He knows the quick way around the 5/8 mile, and he's been using that inside turn advantage so far.
As your leaders bring it down 2 turns 3 and 4. Still up on the number 1 spot, Mike Coca and Mark Smith. Still bumper to bumper down the front straightaway. Now the drafting team of Wolf and LePan get closer. They break that draft just a little bit this time, and that allows the front 2 to pull away. Mike Coca still up on that number 1 spot with Mark Smith sitting right behind.
He chopped out hard to the inside of turn number 2. Here comes LePan, 3 wide down the back straightaway. It's LePan on the inside. Smith in the middle of the sandwich and Coca up to the outside. They'll fight their way, and LePan got the inside groove advantage.
LePan had the advantage into turn 3, but through 3 and 4, the outside is the way to go. The 2-lap sign is up to the field. In 1 and 2, the bottom side is fast. 3 and 4, it's the top side. LePan very quick in 1 and 2, but that time Coca and Smith are able to outpower. Now they drop it down to the bottom side in turns 1 and 2.
They'll draft each other once again. Coca takes him out of turn number 2. Smith back there in the number 2 spot. It's going to be Smith's turn to make a move this time as we drive down the back straightaway. LePan still 3rd. Wolf is 4th. Two-car teams fight for the number 1 spot. Here we drop to the inside of turn number 4.
White flag set to fly this time by one more time around the full cycle feature event in its final tour of duty by the start finish line. It's been Coca and Smith drafting like this for the last 4 laps. Will Smith be able to outdraft his partner down up a turn number 2?
It'll be interesting to watch him come out of turn number 4. You can bet that's where the friendship ends and the partnerships will break up. Smith pushing Coca down the back straightaway. LePan holds on to 3rd. Wolf is 4th. Watch the photo finish. Here's where the friendship now ends.
Off the turn number 4, the full checkered flag set to fly. Very tight, very close. Smith back there in the number 2 spot. Drops it down to the outside. Tries to make the move. Dual checkered flag flying there very close. And I don't know. Well, we're waiting on official word right now. And your winner by a whisker out of Montgomery, New York, the 25 of Mike Coca. Coca narrowly edging out Mark Smith in the number 92 machine for the victory.
Talk about some very exciting go-kart racing action, and it's very interesting how the karts have worked here on the 5/8 mile tonight. And you never would think that drafting would mean so much for a small racing go-kart, but aerodynamics have certainly proved to be the winner. And we warned you that coming out of turn number 4, the friendship would end amongst these top 4 campaigners. It certainly came down to the wire as Smith made a bonsai inside slingshot maneuver, but it just fell about a half a hair's length short of the checkered flag. Coca takes the win as the second feature event gets set. This is the $1,000 to win 2-cycle racing feature event brought to us once again by Karts Incorporated, Cervone's Competition Karts, the Mid-Hudson Speedway, along with Mountain Service Distributors, Teresi Produce, Chariot Sales and Leasing, and of course Reclamation Road Reclaiming. 20 laps. 2-cycle racing go-kart feature event. A $1,000 paycheck is now being prepared as we put all the campaigners back in a double file formation. The Olson Todd Cutlass Supreme Pace Car will show the way one final time. Field will be given the indication this time by that 1 lap, and we will be off to a green flag start.
Dave Urich up on the pole right now. Alongside of him is the 47 of Mike Doty. Then you go back to the number 1 of Miracle and the 1X of Jim Rumsey. Those are your first 2 rows up on the front. is Dave Urick. Then would come Mike Doty on the outside in the 47. Then a pair of ones in row number 2, James Rumsey on the outside, and Jamie Miracle on the inside.
We do believe it's Mike Doty, a very good go-kart two-cycle race driver from throughout the tri-state area. We do believe that he is racing with Team Margay here tonight. We know that one other campaigner is running with Team Coyote here tonight. Of course, Coyote, a very well-known name in go-kart racing, and that's Barry Greenswag out of Punkletown, Pennsylvania, farther back in the start. But Doty aboard Team Margay, number 47, with an outside starting spot. Here we come. The caution lights have been turned out. Green flag set to fly.
Dave Urick led every lap of his heat earlier on. Now he's got 15 of them to go here in the two-cycle feature event. Down to the bottom side goes Doty, picking up the number 1 spot. Urick tucks in right behind.
Doty and Urick will show the way right off the get-go. 20 laps, a long time around the Orange County Speedway. Of course, attrition may become a problem. We've got a scramble out of turn number 2.
We got to go with caution. One guy hit the wall and one guy stopped.
Caution lights will come on. We've got 2 carts remaining down there in turn number 2. The 11X of Joe Perez, and we cannot get a number reading on the other go-kart involved on the inside. It may be the number 24X. Lenny Dickinson, the 24, maybe the other cart involved. One lap has now been scored. Billy Sherman, the 24X cart, the second cart involved down there. As Matthews Speedway Recovery will just kind of put that cart up on the hook like a coat hanger and take it behind pit wall. A beautiful assembly of two-cycle racing go-karts here at the Orange County Fair Speedway. Good to see that he's doing good. Street stock consolation will be due next on the Speedway. Caution lights have now been turned out. Green flag racing as we come out of turn number 4 this time.
Doty drops quickly back out to the number 1 spot. Dave Urick a second. Here comes Jim Rumsey. Rumsey dropped it down to the bottom side. Tried to make the move for the number 2 spot, but no move. As Dave Urick slams the door, but they're all chasing Doty down the back straightaway.
Urick farther back to the number 2 spot. Rumsey still third. Urick setting the pace down there as he drives hard into turns number 3 and 4. Urick looks down to the inside. You can't even see him anymore once they get behind that third turn concrete.
Dave Urick sits back in the number 2 spot. With right behind him is Jim Rumsey. They begin to hook up as Rumsey now looks to the outside, drives it in hard on the outside. A little bit of sparks come out. Problems. He sticks the arm up in the air. It looks like Rumsey off the pace down in turn 2.
Eric Bond will take over the number 3 spot. As they go racing down in turns number 3 and 4 right now, leader pulls away from the rest of the pack.
Down off the turn number 4 now. Your leader brings it down the front straightaway. 4 carts very close in the number 1 spot. But right now, way out front goes Doty as the 2X of Urick now does battle with Miracle back in spot number 3. Mark Smith has now moved up into position number 4.
Miracle in a good ride right there in the number 2, but the caution lights coming on. Caution lights on around the field right now. Have been scored in the field right now as they race down to the caution. Mike Doty aboard Team Margay holds on to the number 1 spot. And the
off of turn number 4. The green flag flies once again, and Mike Doty just powers away down to turn number 1. Dave York gets chased. Mark Smith running back in spot number 3 as they take it down through turns number 1 and 2. Doty will lead them down the back straightaway.
Doty aboard the team bar gate, number 47 car showing the way down the back straightaway quickly, separating himself from the rest of the field. Urick still second. Smith on the outside, and here comes Jimmy Miracle. Miracle going to fight down to the inside corner. Outside the quick way for the 2 cycles and turn number 3.
3 and 4 was fast in the high side for the 4 cycles. Once again, it proves true here as Mark Smith outpowers him. Picks up spot number 2 with Miracle 3rd, Urick 4th, and now Benny Rizzo up into the top 5 running order.
Mike Doty, no competition for the rest of the 2-cycle division right now as they power their way down the back straightaway. Mark Smith still second. Jamie Miracle back there in the number 3 spot.
Down through turns 3 and 4. Doty safely back out in the number 1 position. Holds on to about a 4-car length advantage now over the second place runner down the front straightaway. Doty hanging on to it now. Mark Smith getting closer. Miracle is 3rd. Then would be the number 7X of Derek Bond, who is increasingly getting faster lap after lap.
Well, it's hard to determine whether Doty is slowing up or Smith is getting quicker, but that bunch of beverages number 300 car certainly closing him some space very, very quickly down the back straightaway. He'll stay in it just a little bit longer right now as they set themselves up for turns number 3 and 4. Smith looks down to the inside. They'll race out of turn number 4 for the number 1 position.
Mark Smith with a very, very close second place in the 4-cycle division. Well, he'd like to better himself from here in the 2-cycle division, and he is definitely getting quicker now. Dropping it down to the low side to 1 and 2 on the high side. He runs through 3 and 4.
Smith showing muscle right now. Coming out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Mike Doty knows that the heat is on. Doty will show the way down the back straightaway. Doty holds on to the number 1 spot, but right there in the shadow rides the number 300 of Mark Smith.
Smith comes down off of turn number 4 on the high side. Now drops it down to the low side. They touch for just a moment. Smith looks to have the preferred line, and that is the bottom line into turns 1 and 2. Mark Smith, your new race leader.
It's a race down to the inside. Going into turn number 1, who's ever on the inside lane will come out of 2 of the number 1 spot. Down the back straightaway. Doty will try and rebound. This time he'll fight for the inside group, but the outside may be a quick way in turn number 3.
Well, Doty passed him on the low side, but then he slid right up in front of him off the high side of turn number 4. Doty now regains their lead. Smith once again makes the move at him down to the bottom side. For just a moment they touch to bring it down very, very close. Down to turn number 1 they go.
Well, the drafting partnership has now been formed. A friendship made between Doty and Mark Smith. Only 9 laps coming up to the halfway point this time around. Jamie Miracle back there, the number 3 spot, and we do believe that's Derek Bond back there in spot number 4. Those 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place riders better choose some drafting partners real quick if they want to close that gap up to the number 1 position.
Scott Ellisman in the 115 machine is now taking over spot number 4. He got down to the low side. Now he goes for 3rd. Ellisman working strong on the bottom side, picking up spot number 3. Miracle's back and forth, and here comes the number 16 of Phil Harris. Harris now rounding out the top 5 running order.
Once again, drafting very, very important. Even in the 2-cycle division, it's much faster racing for go-karts, but they still fight for the number 1 and 2 spot. Coming up to the halfway point, 10 laps have been scored. We'll mark it up to lap number 11, down the home straightaway.
The leaders have definitely hooked up together, and they're just blowing them away down the front straightaway. Ellisman now back to the number 3 spot. Here comes Miracle, Harrison Bond back in spots 4, 5, and 6.
Doty once again leading the way out of turn number 2. Mark Smith still back there in the number 2 spot. Ellisman back there in spot number 3. Miracle now 4th. Miracle drops it down to the inside. 3rd spot, that battle is on. They'll drag race apart down to turn number 3 with Miracle on the inside, and the inside group proves to win that 3rd place draw.
Well, this is the tactic that Mark Smith used in the 4-cycle division. He drafted the leader until the last lap. Now he's hooked right up on the tail side of Doty, waiting for Doty to make a mistake. Miracle now picks up spot number 3. Ellerman slides by back and forth, and the number 16 of the Harris down spot number 5.
Keep your eyes on the number 16 car running back there, the number 5 spot. He's been closing in very quickly, coming up through the heart of the pack. Meanwhile, Ellisman drops it down to the inside of Miracle as they fight for the number 3 spot. Ellisman takes the number 3 position.
Mike Doty leads him down the front straightaway to complete lap number 13. Mark Smith sitting right behind him. The Budget Beverages number 300 tucks it right in on the tail side, dropping it down to the bottom side. Ellisman and Miracle now. It looks like they may be beginning to hook up as drafting partners off of turn number 2.
Harris back there in the number 5 spot. Still needs some racing room to close up that 3rd place gap on Miracle and Ellisman as they race down the back straightaway. Miracle closes in very quickly. Looks off to the inside corner. Fight for spot number 3.
Down off of turn number 4. Your leaders are now getting set to come out into lap traffic, but the caution comes out around the speedway. We've got one sitting down in turn number 4.
Driver quickly exits the cart down between turns number 3 and 4.
Two carts down there, Tim, and it's the 115 of Ellisman and the 7X of Derek Bond. They were running back in spots number 3 and 4, and well, they've got it together, and they come to a rest up on the outside of turn number 4.
A tough break for those two top 5, top 6 campaigners as they fought for the number 3 and 4 spots the whole race long. Caution lights now on the field. 14 laps of competition have been scored 6 more times around for a $1,000 20-lap feature event. Coming up right after this will be the Street Stock Consolations. 2 consolations tonight with the tremendous number of street stocks that have answered the call here this evening here at the Orange County Speedway. It turned out 6 more times around, and Doty taking off like wildfire already.
Down off of turn number 4, Doty very anxious. He caught Mark Smith napping that time off of turn number 4 as he draws away down into turn number 1. Doty way out front right now.
Doty wasting no time at all. He doesn't need a drafting partner when you're the leader. Coming out of turn number 2, Doty taking off very quickly. Phil Harris back there in the number 4 spot. He looks down to the inside of Miracle, motoring down the back straightaway. Mark Smith onto the outside, Miracle down to the inside.
The question is, will Smith be able to close in that gap? Now, he was up on the tail side of Doty before the caution came out. He was very fast, but now it looks like he's lost that draft, and Doty very quick off the start. Smith may need a couple of laps to regain the momentum.
Smith picks up the number 2 spot. Miracle back there in spot number 3. Harris on to the outside, takes over the number 4 spot on a turn number 2.
Miracle takes back to spot number 3. Now drops it down to the bottom side of Smith. Jamie Miracle on the bottom side, trying to pick up that number 2 spot. Smith up on the outside, tries to hold on to it down up at turn number 4. Miracle picks up the runner-up spot. Smith got hung out to dry, and now Phil Harris begins to work by Smith for spot number 3.
Jamie Miracle holds on to the number 2 position. 3rd spot, it's still Mark Smith. Harris on to the inside right now, and Harris takes over spot number 2. Smith may be in trouble, losing 2 positions down the back straightaway.
And Mark Smith falling back quickly, and Doty pulling away just as quick. They get set to bring it down off of turn number 4. This will be the completion of lap number 17. 17 laps have been scored 3 more times around, and Mike Doty in the number 47 stretching it out.
Just 3 more times around the Orange County Speedway, a $1,000 paycheck getting prepared right now, and it could very well be made out to Mike Doty as he separates himself from the rest of the field. Jamie Miracle is 2nd, Harris still 3rd.
They take it down through turns number 3 and 4. Doty stretching it out right now. Way out front comes the number 47. 18 laps have been scored. He's about 15 to 20 car lengths ahead of Jamie Miracle, who sits in 2nd. Bill Harris now swings by up on the outside, trying to take that number 2 spot away. Closes the door on the number 1 of Miracle and picks up that runner-up spot. Harris now at spot number 2.
Ryan McDermott riding a good 4th place run so far as Mark Smith rounds out the top 5 down the back straightaway. Coming up on the white flag lap. 18 laps have been scored.
Down off of turn number 4, Doty sees the white flag flying 1 more time around, stretching it out right now, very comfortably out on that number 1 spot. Here comes Phil Harris in position number 2. The time's running out if he's going to close the gap on Doty.
Harris holds on to the number 2 spot. Coming out of turn number 2 this time, Jerry Miracle still back there in 3rd, and 4th place it is still the number 08 card.
Checkered flag gets set to fly this time down off of turn number 4. Dual checkered flags flying. The winner in current number 47 is Mike Doty. 2nd spot goes to Phil Harris, then Jamie Miracle, then the 06 and the 28 round out the top 5 running order. So Mike Doty picking up the 20 lap, $1,000 to win, 2-cycle feature event. He'll be bringing it back around into victory lane, as well as the winner of the 4-cycle division, and that, of course, was Michael Kolka. Kolka from Middletown, New York, winner of the 4-cycle division. And Mike Doty, winner in the 2-cycle division. They'll be bringing it down into victory lane to get some pictures taken out on the track with the owner of Carts Incorporated, Mr. Jeff Farber, and family will be down there to congratulate him. Mike Doty wheels it into the infield area now as the 2 cycles all bring it back into the infield area. Tim Pitts is making his way down trackside to catch some interviews with both of the winners, and of course Mr. Jeff Farber from Carts Incorporated, proud sponsor here of the kart racing in the 94 season. He'll be bringing it out onto the front speedway as the
standing with me right now, the number 25 of Mike Kolka. And, of course, from right here in Middletown, New York, you had yourself a good run out here tonight, but a $500 paycheck. Did you ever think coming out here at the start of this feature that you could walk home with such a good finish?
No. Not really. We changed a couple of things before the feature, and they're close, but we have to make some more changes next time.
How many times have you run the series here at Orange County?
This is only my second time.
And, of course, you do some improvements you had to do over your first run, and you had $500 working out there ahead of you, so that, of course, made things all the sweeter and made your drive to the front just a little bit greater.
Yeah, they did, but I just got to thank my dad and everyone else that helped me out.
I'll tell you what, you had a lot of people on the edges of the seats, one of the best finishes we've seen in a long time. Mike, congratulations on an outstanding drive tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Mike Kolka, ladies and gentlemen, the number 25 car from here in Middletown, New York. And Mike Cody, Team Margay, I'll tell you what, you got a lot of people shooting for you out there tonight, and a very tough race, the whole 20 laps long.
Yeah, it was. In the beginning, they were pressing me. I had to wait for my tires to warm up, and then halfway, and then went a lot faster, like a half a second faster towards the end.
It seemed like you had to develop a strategy out there. It seemed to us from up at the tower, whoever beat their way onto the inside of turn number 1 usually came out to lead, but down in turns 3 and 4, it seemed just a little bit different.
Yeah, well, it's a little rougher, so you gotta change the line through there.
So it's even on a big track like this, and of course the size of the go-kart's quite small in nature. It seemed like aerodynamics certainly played a big part of the feature event, and it seemed like everybody was starting to choose some drafting partners out there and virtually push each other around the speedway.
Yeah, in karting, drafting is the whole thing because they're so small, and draft is a half a second at least when you're behind someone.
We understand, of course, that you run for Team Margay, some of the finest names in go-kart racing, and they built some outstanding go-kart frames, and you've had quite a good 1994 run so far.
Yeah, well, this is my first dirt race, mostly asphalt, street races in the Midwest. It was good this year.
Well, you can put $1,000 up on the mantle when you get home, and what an outstanding drive. Congratulations on an outstanding performance tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Mike Cody, ladies and gentlemen, Team Margay, as they take the feature event, $1,000 to win, and Jeff Farmer, of course, we certainly could not have done it without you tonight. We know a lot of people have helped you out along the 1994 trail, but you really made it all happen, and one of the finest performances of go-kart racing we've seen anywhere in the New York State.
Yeah, we're really trying, we got to, give them good money, and we'll get all the good carts, like Mike, both Mikes, actually.
Well, it seemed like the money was certainly the deciding factor because we had well over almost 100 go-karts out there tonight. Both divisions very strong, and of course, the money, like you say, was the name of the game, and Karts Incorporated was certainly the driving factor behind it all.
Yeah, we're trying real hard. We're going to get it.
Well, race fans, of course, had a taste of this back in 1993. You brought some friends out here for some expedition races, and you put your heads together over the winter months. You developed a complete course of events for 1994. Can we look forward to you back for 1995?
Yeah, 95 should be bigger and better.
And, of course, the world of go-kart racing getting even stronger throughout the New York State. And, of course, we've got a good friend right here in Middletown, New York, that'll get you started or help you along the way. And that's Karts Incorporated, of course, your family-run operation. And you're just down the street from the Middletown racetrack.
Yes, thank you very much.
Jeff Farmer, ladies and gentlemen, the man behind it all here tonight at the Orange County Speedway for racing go-karts.
The 4, Alan Hoteling, row number 7. The 7 of Tommy Byrne, and the CV of Steve Osterhouse. Then comes Danny Hedges, Mark Rutherford, and Andy Denver. Set to go. The street start Concy going to bring him down off the turn number 4. Frank Jordan and Bill Pasquale in rows of 2. They'll bring him down side by side till they reach the start-finish line. 8 laps will be this consolation event. 4 more cars will qualify. Frank Jordan, Bill Pasquale, side by side. The green flag flies. Pasquale from the outside powers down into the number 1 position. Bill Pasquale, the Kaufman Auto Parts, Perico Gas Motorsport 62, hangs on to that number 1 position. Frank Jordan sits right behind him as Steve Huff Hupka a little bit up out of the group. Philosopoulos runs back to spot 3. 3 wide. Here comes Jeff Hager. Bolstering down to the bottom side in the number 65 machine. Battling out with Steve Hupka. Hupka up on spot number 4. Comes to 119 of Hupka. The final transfer spot. Hager a little bit out of the group. Down on the bottom side. That opens up the top side for Steve Osterheld. Osterheld runs back in the number 6 position right now. Remember, 4 cars will qualify. Bill Pasquale safely down the back stretch in the number 1 spot. Frank Jordan is second. Philosopoulos and Jeff Hager. Well, they're swapping a little bit of paint as they go down the back straightaway. Hager picks up spot number 3 with Sopoulos down back to spot 4. Steve Hupka looks to get a qualifying position. We've got him crunching and bunching. Cars around caution prize. Lap number being scored right now. Couple of cars getting it together. The 119 of Steve Hupka, the CV of Steve Osterheld, and the 55X of Barry Filipowski. The 3 cars that are up there in turn number 4. Now, Barry Filipowski is in the top 5 in the novice point standings heading into tonight's racing activity. The top 5 in both the rookie and the novice are guaranteed starters here this evening for the 20-lap feature event a little bit up. 2 laps have been scored right now. Your leaders come down the front straightaway. Caution flag is out to the field. The 119 of Steve Hupka, the CV of Steve Oster, 92 of Frank Jordan. Third would be the 65 of Jeff Hager. And fourth right now would be the 7H of Danny Hedges. Hedges in spot number 4. 1 spot out of qualifying right now is the other number 7. That's Tommy Byrne, and the Byrne Towing and Recovery sponsored mount. Then the 28 of Phil Sopoulos and the 608 of Mike Bilyeu. Those are the 7 cars that still... Off of turn number 4, the caution lights get turned down. We got 2 laps down, 6 to go here in the first consolation. 4 more cars will qualify towards tonight's 20-lap feature event. Down the front straightaway, 3 wide into turn number 1. And Hager very quick on the bottom side, gets by Jordan. Now puts the moves on Pasquale. And here comes Danny Hedges. Well, he likes the outside of turn 2 so much he almost did it again, but he straightens it out. Comes out at spot number 4. Jordan just ahead of him in position number 3. Jeff Hager working over Bill Pasquale for the number 1 spot. Pasquale hangs on to it right now up on the outside as Hager drops it down to the bottom side. Down the front straightaway. Hager in the number 2 spot. Takes it into turn number 1. Trying to close in on race leader Bill Pasquale. Frank Jordan sits up at spot number 3 off of turn 2. Danny Hedges in that final transfer spot. Tommy Byrne now looks up to the outside and picks up spot number 5. 1 spot out of qualifying. Down off of turn number 4. The Perico Gas Motorsports Kaufman Auto Parts number 62 of Bill Pasquale brings them down to the turn number 1. Holding on to that number 1 spot with Jeff Hager sitting back in position number 2. Hager in the Bruce F. Ryan Agency. Peekskill Electric number 65 holds on to spot number 2. Frank Jordan, the D&M Kitchen and Bath number 92, picks up spot number 3. And the Chris Wentz Construction Coca-Cola CB Trucking 7/8 of Danny Hedges holds on to spot number 4. Down the front straightaway this time, 5 laps have been scored. And Bill Pasquale steadily inching away from the 65 of Hager. Hager sits up in that run-on spot. Jordan is third. Danny Hedges getting a little bit quicker here now in the later stages of this consolation event. Hedges off the high side of turn number 2, closes in on Jordan, who holds on to the number 3 position. Tommy Byrne, 1 spot out of qualifying, runs back in spot number 5. Time's running out for him now as the leaders bring it down off of turn number 4, this time by 6 laps. Have been scored 2 more times around. And Bill Pasquale easing away now down into turn number 1. 15 car lengths ahead of the number 65 of Hager. Hager sits back in the number 2 position, part of a brothers racing team, John and Jeff, here on a Saturday night basis, running in both divisions. Jeff hanging on to spot number 2 right now with Frank Jordan third, and Danny Hedges holding on to that final transfer spot. Coming down off of turn number 4, the white flag set to fly this time down the front straightaway. Bill Pasquale stretching out the number 1 margin way out front. Hager's been in second now for the last 4 laps. Then would be Jordan and Hedges, third and 4th. Down off of turn number 2, Pasquale takes him down towards turn 3. Lee Crutch drops off the pace, takes it in behind pit 4. Your leader goes by him, no problem. Pasquale takes it down through 3 and 4, up on the high side. Very smooth through the turns and down the straights, bringing it down the front straightaway. The checkered flag set to fly winner of the first consolation event goes to number 62, Bill Pasquale. Second goes to Jeff Hager. Third to Frank Jordan, and fourth to Danny Hedges. There are your 4 cars that will qualify towards tonight's 20-lap street stock feature event. 4 more will come out of Consi number 2.
There's 150 laps of the door, I can tell you that.
Robbie Rudge from Long Island, please report underneath the main grandstand. Thank you. Consi number 2, Frank DeMarlo and Kurt Puff, row 1. Kathy Toff, Bill Lisa, row 2. John Bryson and Robert Andrews, row 3. Chuck Witkowski, Ronnie Irvin, row 4. Mike Pomerico, Glenn Cargane, row 5. Andy Metko and Jeff Hager, row 6. Pedro Soto, Scott Cusick, row 7. Tony Loto, Bill Pasquale, row 8. Ken Pettit and Edgar Hedges, row number 9. Down off of turn number 4, the Wilson Todd Cutler Supreme SL Pace car sets him free. Second consolation event coming down the front straightaway, the 04 Junior, Frank DeMarlo. A little bit anxious on that start. Well, he's in a spark runner here in the 94 season. He picks up the number 1 spot, and here comes Puffy, Kurt Puff, back in the number 2 position. Bill Leeser holding on to position number 3 in the 91X, and Kathy Toff rounding out the top 4 running order. John Bryson and Robbie Andrews running back in spots number 5 and 6. Andrews holds on to 5th. Bryson right behind him now off of turn 4. Bryson drops down underneath Andrews, picks up spot number 5. Pomerico follows suit as the car way up out of the groove right now as Robbie Andrews and Ron Irvin both sliding high and let 3 or 4 cars go by. Down into turn number 1, Will Mike Williams in the 711X. Showing his Enduro experience. He and the 84 of Chuck Witkowski get together down in turns number 1 and 2. Caution flag set to come out right now down off of turn number 4. Mike Williams got it refired, but Witkowski wasn't able to do so. The yellow flag flies, and the 2 laps have been scored.
Tommy Green is first. John Fortini second. Steve Delpan
We come down off of turn number 4. The green flag flies once again. It's Frank DeMarlo back out to that number 1 spot. The Puff's Auto Salon. The Puff, the Magic Dragon, Kurt Puffy back in spot number 2. Drops it down to the bottom side of DeMarlo. Goes side by side off of turn number 2 for the number 1 spot. Puff on the low side. There goes DeMarlo out, towering him down the back straightaway. Holds on to a half a car length advantage, but Puff drives it in deep down on the bottom side by side for the number 1 spot. DeMarlo got the handle there as he wants it right now on the 04 Junior off the high side of turn number 4. Puff down on the bottom side. Tries to out-power him side by side for the number 1 spot. Puff down on the bottom side. DeMarlo on the outside. Bill Lisa running back in spot number 3, and Kathy Toff rounds out the top 4 running order. Now Puffy begins to inch away down the back straightaway. Holds on to about a 2-car length advantage over the 04 Junior of Frank DeMarlo. DeMarlo back in spot number 2. Lisa third, and Kathy Toff runs it in extremely hard this time. Up on the outside of 3 and 4. Closes the gap on Lisa, but now right back in spot number 5 comes the 66 of John Bryson, closing it quickly. 1 spot out of qualifying. Kurt Puff up on the number 1 spot down off of turn number 2. Now begins to stretch it out a little bit as Frank DeMarlo. A little bit slow this time off of turn 2. Now garners up the horsepower and closes right back in on the 39 of Puff. Bill Lisa runs back in spot number 3 with Kathy Toff hooked up on the outside. Down off of turn number 4, Kurt Puff sits up in number 1 position. Here comes Frank DeMarlo. DeMarlo, spot number 2, Lisa third, and Kathy Toff rounding out the top 4 running order. Off of turn number 2, Kurt Puff stretching out the number 1 margin. Frank DeMarlo still back down spot number 2. John Bryson chasing in main right now, sitting back in spot number 5. The Bryson towing number 66, hard hit into the 4th turn last Saturday night. Got it all back together. 1 spot out of qualifying by the start-finish line. 6 laps, 7 scored. Kurt Puff up on the number 1 spot. John Bryson closing in quickly on Kathy Toff. Toff coming over fine. 2nd place finish last Saturday night in the rookie division. Now has to feel the heat, fend off the charges of John Bryson. Bryson in the number 66 machine, closing right in now, takes it in deep on the high side of turns 3 and 4. From the high side, switches grooves, drops down to the bottom side. Bryson trying to work by elbow. Number 5, no, that would be Kathy Toff here this evening. The white flag flies one more time around. Puffy hangs on to Frank DeMarlo back in spot number 2. A little bit of smoke coming out of the back end of the 39 of Puff, but does not seem to be hampering the performance as he stretches out that number 1 margin. DeMarlo back in spot 2. Bill Lisa is third with Kathy Toth in that final transfer spot. Down off of turn number 4. Checkered flag, set the fly this time down the front straightaway. Advancing to the Pat Kelly Haynes Stroll 20 lap. Feature event is your winner, the 39 of Kirk Pop. Second goes to the 04, Frank Zamaro. Third to Bill Lisa at fourth to Kathy Toth. So there you have it, the final four to make it. We will have to add Barry Filipowski in the 55.
Racing Enterprises and D&M Tank Cleaning out of Saddlebrook, New Jersey, a $1,090 payoff. Of course, the 90, very symbolic of the Dirt Sportsman number 90, piloted by Carol Birchwell here at the Orange County Speedway. Well, the two fine organizations have joined forces once again. D&M Tank Cleaning, of course, being the major sponsor on Carol Birchwell's mount this year, as they pay tribute to the street stocks once again. Your pole sitter for this dash, the number 15 of Tommy Green. On the outside, the number 317 of John Platania. Row number 2 on the inside, the 174 of Steve Galgano. And on the outside, the number 6 of Tommy Dembeck. That's how they'll take it down to the wire for the $1,090 payoff. $590 for first, $250 for second, $150 for third, and $100 for fourth in one of the richest dash for cashes we've seen all year here at the Orange County Fair Speedway. These are your four fastest street stock qualifiers here tonight, as of course they've already picked up their starting spot in the Pat Kelly Hay and Straw feature event. That'll be held right after intermission period here tonight. But right now, all eyes and all attention on the four fastest laps of the evening on the 5/8 mile hard clay. $1,090 brought to us once again by Carol Birchwell Racing Enterprises and D&M Tank Cleaning out of Saddlebrook, New Jersey, two fine names in dirt motorsports throughout the 1994 year. Caution lights have now been turned out. The Olson Todd pace car drops down to the inside. We're set to go racing straight stock style. Green will show him the way out of turn number 4 this time. Green flies, and here we go. John Platania fights up to the outside part of the speedway. The outside lane taken off out of turn number 2 this time, but Green leads the way out of turn number 2 on the inside lane. They'll drag race them down the back straightaway. Platania grabs the number 1 spot. John Platania riding aboard the number 317 car. Goes up to the outside part of turns number 3 and 4. He'll drop it down to the inside. Dembeck following suit, the Apple Restoration number 6 car. Steve Galgano back the number 174 car. Fills the number 3 spot as Green drops back 3 spots. Fouls on the tail side of the field. John Platania leads the way out of turn number 2 this time. He'll take him down the back straightaway. Platania drops onto the inside line of traffic as he heads for turns 3 and 4. Dembeck up to the outside. Galgano follows him like a drafting partner out of turn number 4 this time. We're coming up on the halfway point. 2 laps down and 2 to go. The Carol Birchwell Racing D&M Tank Cleaning Street Stock Dash for Cash. Platania holds on to the lead. Second spot is Dembeck. He's planning some strategy right now as he fires his way back there in the number 2 spot. Galgano back there in spot number 3, and Green following up back in spot number 4. Galgano looks up to the outside part of the speedway, drops it down to the inside. White flag and a fly this time. A one-lap shootout to the finish for a $590 paycheck. John Platania holds on to the number 1 spot. He takes him up to the outside of turn number 2 this time. Final tour of duty down the back straightaway. Platania leads the way as he heads for turns 3 and 4. Dembeck back there in spot number 4. Watch Galgano to the outside. Checkered flag and he set the fly. The winner of the Carol Birchwell Racing D&M Tank Cleaning Street Stock Dash for Cash, John Platania. Second spot is Dembeck, third Galgano, and fourth Tommy Green.
victory lane aboard the number 317 car, John Platania, longtime street stock driving veteran here in the 5/8 mile hard play. Folks from Carroll Birchwell Racing and D&M Tank Cleaning standing by down here. Of course, they've got the top 4 place paycheck. $590 will be presented to the winner. $250 for second, $150 and $100 to round out the payoff. As D&M Tank Cleaning, of course, come back.
Here he is climbing out of the car, John Platania.
John, a good run out there tonight. 4 laps, not a whole long time to do it, and probably one of the biggest payoffs you've run for in just such a short distance.
Yeah, it is, and I want to thank everybody that's helped me with this car all year long, and we're here.
You've had a good run the entire 1994 racing season, of course, a long-time veteran of street stock racing. You've certainly shown the fast way around on more than just one night, and a good job being done, of course, by Carroll Birchwell Racing and D&M Tank Cleaning to offer such a healthy payoff for just such a very short dash.
Yeah, it's great that they do that for us, and they look at us and see us race, and we're out here just like everybody else.
Of course, the street stocks, no matter which division you look at, have certainly provided for some of the closest racing all year long, and tonight certainly no exception. John, a good run. What does it look like now for feature event time?
Hopefully the same thing.
So you had yourself a good heat win out there earlier, a Dash for Cash win. We might talk to you a little bit later on.
Thanks a lot.
John Platania, ladies and gentlemen, winner of the D&M Tank Cleaning, Carroll Birchwell Racing, Dash for Cash. And Tommy, you look good out there in the heat event. Of course, you ran out over there in the number 1 spot, ran away from the rest of the field, but you just quite needed a little bit more time out there to get ahead of John.
Well, I don't know if I could have got him or not. It was just quite an achievement just getting out here with these novice guys. This Dash for Cash, we were just going so much faster than we do with the rookie class.
Well, the cars are the same, but you do see a difference out there between the rookie and the novice drivers?
Definitely. These guys go in so much harder. They were all over my back bumper midway through the turn before I was even getting on the gas.
I'll tell you what, you certainly look like an expert out there tonight amongst the rookies and novices mixed together. You certainly didn't look like you were intimidated in any way. Had a good heat win out there and a good second-place finish down the dash.
Well, it definitely felt good. I would definitely like to thank D&M. They put up quite a bit of money, and it's good to see somebody showing some interest in the street stocks. Also like to thank John Weiss from Apple Restoration and Waterproofing. My only sponsor this year really come through, and without them, I don't know if we would have done anything.
Well, you had an outstanding run the entire 1994 season. Rounding it out in fine fashion, Tommy, congratulations. You moved yourself up 1 more spot. We'll talk to you later on.
Okay, thanks.
Tommy Dembeck, ladies and gentlemen. Third spot, Steve Galgano. You had a good run out there in qualifying earlier. You walked home with a good heat win, but come Dash for Cash time, it took a while to get things sorted out.
Yeah, the guys are really running strong this year, really close competition and all, and we're just really happy and proud to be here tonight.
Well, you had a good run in qualifying. Any changes now for feature event time?
Maybe a little tire change, that's about it, kind of cross our fingers. Guys are going to be running hard from the back, that's for sure.
Well, you certainly got a little bit longer of a distance to do it here tonight. Steve, a good job. Maybe we'll talk to you later on.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Steve Galgano, ladies and gentlemen, third spot finisher. And Tommy Green, you might have some wrenching to do. You looked very, very strong in
The qualifying heat run out there earlier, but kind of bobbled just a little bit off the start of the dash.
Yeah, it took me a little while to get in the groove, and by the time I did, it was a little too late.
Any changing now for
feature event time?
Not really, just trying to keep my head in the game, that's all.
Well, Tom, you've had a good run the entire 1994 distance long, and of course, a good run out here tonight. You're all set for a good finish now in the 20-lap Pat Kelly Armstrong feature event.
I sure hope I see you up front later.
Okay, Tommy Green, ladies and gentlemen, fourth place finisher. Back in row number 13, on the outside is spot number 26, the 16 of Ken Pettit. On the inside in car number 55X, Barry Filipowski. Row number 12 and 24th, starting spot, the 5 of Kathy Tolp and the 7H of Danny Hedges. Row number 11 and 22nd spot, the 91X of Bill Leeser. And on the inside, the D&M Kitchen and Bath, number 92 of Frank Jordan. 10th row, outside, the 20th starting spot from Newburgh, New York, the 04 Junior of Frank DeMorrow. On the inside, in spot number 19, the 65 of Jeff Hager. 9th row, 18th spot, the Puffs Auto Body, number 39 of Kurt Puff. On the inside, in 17th spot, the 62 of Bill Pasquale. 8th row, 16th spot, the number 11 of Tommy Mill.
On the inside, spot number 15, the 10 of Jerry Lorenzo. Row number 7 and 14 spot on the outside, the 80 of Paul Bryson. On the inside, the number 27 of Pat Kelly. Row number 6 on the outside, and spot number 12, car number 12 himself, Rocky Picciano. On the inside of Rocky, and car number 25, Timmy Green. Row number 5 on the outside, and spot number 10, the 19J of Jeff Hyham. On the inside of Jeff, and car number 86, Craig Husted. 4th row, 8th spot, 34th starting spot. Car number 34, it's Chris DuBois. On the inside of Chris, starting in spot number 7, the 442 of Scotty Kerr. Row number 3 in 6th starting spot. Aboard car number 8819, that's the Al Smith Excavating Special. It's Al Smith. On the inside, the Mayo Pack New York native, the Taylor Taxi number 58, Wayne Taylor. Row number 2 on the outside, the number 1 car, the Apple Restoration and Waterproofing car from Middletown, Tommy Dembeck. And on the inside in 3rd spot, the 174 of Steve Galgano. Front row, John Platania rides on the outside, aboard car number 317, and your pole sitter, the Green Hollow Body, number 15 car of Tommy Green. Open Todd under the pace car down to the inside. Here we come out of row number 4. Green flag flies 20 left. Pat Kelly, hands crossed, Street Stock Beach Revenge. Tommy Green up to the inside, right up the get-go. He takes the pack down in turn number 2. Green will show the way out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Here comes Platania. Green slides to the outside. Platania swing shot down to the inside corner. John Platania grabs the number 1 spot aboard the Bob's Auto, number 317 car. The late Carmel, New York native will show the way out of turn number 4 this time. Platania down the home straightaway. Galgano is 2nd. Green back to 3rd. Taylor is 4th. Scott Kerr back in spot number 5. Single file right now. They all choose drafting partners down on turn number 2. Platania begins to separate himself from the rest of the field. Galgano back there in the number 2 spot. Tommy Green back there in spot number 3. Started up there in the number 1 position. The Taylor Taxi. Banner Wayne Taylor back there in spot number 4. Scott Kerr looks down to the inside. Dembeck back there in spot number 6. John Platania holds on to the number 1 spot. Galgano still 2nd, Green 3rd. Top 3 cars now begin to pull away from the rest of the field. Taylor bobbles just a second. Kerr right there in spot number 5. Dembeck running back there in the number 6 spot. The Apple Restoration number 6 car. Kristen Boyce rides in spot number 7. Houston is 8th. Green on the inside in spot number 9. Coming out of turn number 4 this time. Lap number 3 will go up on the scoreboard. 3 down, 17 more circuits around. Top 3 cars put some elbow space between themselves right now. Platania center lines it out of turn number 2. Galgano rally into a good spot back there. And look out for Dembeck. Dembeck doing a complete 360. Pulls away right now. Will not bring out the caution, as he did a good job at straightening that ride back out, but lost very many valuable racing spaces. Meanwhile, Platania brings him down across the stripe. Galgano keeping a tag on him back there in spot number 2. Tommy Green holds on to the 3rd place maneuver right now. Wayne Taylor rides in spot number 4. Scott Kerr is 5th. Chris DuBois back in spot number 6. And Craig Husted now rides in spot number 7. Jeff Hyham coming up through the back in spot number 8. And then back in spot number 9 is the number 25 of Timmy Green. Rocky Picciano rounds out the top 10 running order right now aboard the Eastern Oil number 12 car. Platania, very dominant so far. There's 20 laps, Street Stock Feature Event Shootout. Galgano rides the number 2 spot, drafts about a turn number 2 as they take up to the outside part of the speedway. Galgano holds on to the number 2 spot aboard the number 174 car from Wingdale, New York. Draws in very tightly right now against Platania coming out of turn number 4. Galgano looks up to the outside. Platania drops it down to the inside part of the home straightaway. Nose and tail, they take them down there in turns number 1 and 2. Top 2 cars now begin to separate themselves from the rest of the field. Green back there in spot number 3. Taylor still 4th. Kerr 5th, and here comes Chris DuBois back there in spot number 6. DuBois aboard car number 34, showing some signs of strength right now as he makes a break right now trying to go into the top 5. Kerr holds on to the number 5 ride right now as they come out of turn number 4. Down out of turn number 4, right them down the home straightaway as they haul off the turn number 1. John Platania, a heat winner, a Dash for Cash winner, now to repeat his efforts as he tries to take home a 20-lap Pat Kelly Hagen Street Stock Feature Event. 7 laps have now been marked, coming up on lap number 8 this time around. Nose and tail, they'll follow each other down in turns number 3 and 4. Galgano showing some signs of muscle, looks up to the outside, coming out of turn number 4 this time. Wayne
Taylor. The Taylor taxi, number 58 car, riding back in the number 4 spot. Taylor looks down to the inside of Tom Green, coming out of turn number 2 this time. Taylor heads for the second turn concrete. Something must have broken aboard that Taylor taxi. The car shot straight for that second turn concrete as the caution laps come on right now. Caution lights on around the speedway after 9 laps of competition. A tough break for Wayne Taylor out of nearby Vail-Pack, New York.
As Lady Luck drops out of the car as he went into turn number 2, the car, like we said before,
looked to take a straight shot for that second turn concrete. Denied. So a tough break for Wayne Taylor
as he now gets a taxi ride back behind the pit wall, courtesy of Matthews Speedway Recovery. John Platini, obstacle racing down the traditional side of things on the inside of row number 1. Steve Galgano will take the outside position. Row number 2, a power-packed row. Scotty Kerr on the inside and Tommy Green on the outside. Chris DuBois all the way up to the number 5 spot aboard the number 34 car. Wilson Todd, Cutlass Supreme pace car, drops the field down to the inside.
Here he comes on a turn number 4. Green
Fly, we go back to racing action. Platania, the Bob's Auto
317 car takes off down in turn number 1. He'll take the pack on a turn number 2 this time. DuBois fights on the inside of Green for spot number 4. Chris DuBois out of the draft down the back straightaway, rides aboard the plumb crazy number 34 car. Hits DuBois on the inside and Tommy Green on the outside. The Green's auto body machine fights for the number 4 position. John Platania shows the way on a turn number 4 this time. Halfway coming out, 10 laps down and 10 to go. Problems down in turn number 4. Caution, lights will fly at the halfway point. Saturday night, something new here at the Orange County Speedway. They've been making their tour across the dirt track circuit this year. They'll have about 30 of the vintage stock cars here on the 5/8 mile, and they actually put on a full-speed expedition race for a complete pursed event. So the Northern Vintage Stock Car Club is an event you don't want to miss. They'll be going at it full speed on the 5/8 mile for a full pursed feature event, along with the big blocks next Saturday night. The Olsen Todd, Cutlass Supreme pace car, drops down to the inside. Well, what a half to a feature event payoff so far tonight for John Platania. He'll bring the Bob's Auto number 317 car down on a turn number 4 this time. Green flag flies. We go back to racing action. Top 3 cars hauled off down to turn number 1. Platania bobbles for just a second, but now he stands on it down there in turn number 2. Platania takes him for a ride down the back straightaway. Galgano second, Scotty Kerr third. Tom Green back there in spot number 4. Chris DuBois back in spot number 5 right now. Timmy Green runs in 6. Rocky Picciano running in spot number 7. Bill Pasquale working his way all the way up to spot number 8. Single file draft style down in turns number 1 and 2. Platania takes off early on a turn number 2 this time. He puts about 4 car lengths on the rest of the field. Galgano holds on to the number 2 spot. Galgano on a nearby Wingdale, New York, holding on to the number 2 position. Scott Kerr, an outstanding driver in the street stock ranks here at Orange County, fighting back there in the number 3 spot. Tommy Green, the Green's Auto Body Machine, right there in spot number 4. And Chris DuBois back in spot number 5 at Thorndale Farms. Pete's Pizza Special. DuBois drops it down to the inside this time. He tries to show some muscle against Tommy Green down the back straightaway. Green holds on to the number 4 spot. DuBois will work him over back in spot number 5, but here comes Timmy Green. Timmy Green aboard car number 25 right now. Wants to make a break for the top 5 action coming out of turn number 4. Green follows in suit behind DuBois down the home straightaway. Tim Green, car number 25, holds on to the number 6 spot. DuBois is 5th, and Tommy Green aboard car number 15 rides the number 4 position. 13 laps have now been scored. Midway down the back straightaway files your leader aboard car number 317, John Platania. Galgano still second. Scotty Kerr is third. Tom Green back
back there in the number 4 slot. Chris DuBois rounds out the top 5. Timmy Green, then back there in spot number 6. Rocky Picciano 7th. Bill Pasquale, Craig Houston is 9th. And Paul Bryson in spot number 10 aboard car number 80. Bryson rounds out the top 10. Kurt Puff back there in spot number 11. That's the red number 39 car. Juan Carr from making a break into the top 10 racing order. Coming up on 5 laps to go. 5 to go this time around for John Platania. Platania shows the way. Center lines it down and turns number 1 and 2. Galgano back there in the number 2 spot. Kerr is 3rd. Green 4th. DuBois back in spot number 5. Platania holds on to the lead, showing the way down in 3 and 4. Driving a beautiful groove off to the center of the racetrack. We've got problems. Down in turns 3 and 4. Top runners in trouble. Number 34 doing a good job back there in the number 5 spot. With just 4 laps to go. Involved in a mishap down there in turn number 4. He fires back up to Thorndale Farms Pete's Pizza, number 34 machine. He'll have to rejoin the field right now from the back of the bus at a tough break with just 4 laps to go, but he is in trouble. The car is not handling. Obviously having some steering problems aboard the number 34 car. It looks like the left front has dropped down to the ground. And he has stopped down in turn number 2 right now. Caution lights will remain on the speedway as Matthews Speedway Recovery goes out there to help out the number 34, Chris DuBois. Who obviously thought he could continue. Birchwell Racing D&M tank cleaning dash for cash. And of course, starting up there on the outside of row number 1, destined for another checkered flag so far. Meanwhile, caution, lights get turned out. The Olson Todd got the Supreme Pace car, drops down to the inside. Platania shows the way out of turn number 4 this time. Green flag flies, hammers go down, and here we go. Rocky Picciano making a quick stop down to the inside part of the speedway, right off the get-go. The Eastern Oil number 12 car, fighting off the inside of Tommy Green right now for spot number 4. Green sews it up down the back straightaway. Picciano back to spot number 5. 5 now begins to wind down. Picciano showing some signs of muscle back there in spot number 5. Galgano still rides back to number 2 spot. Scotty Kerr is 3rd. Down the home straightaway. 3-lap sign coming out. Just 3 more times around. Tommy Green up there in the number 4 spot. Picciano drops it down to the inside part of the speedway once again. On of turn number 2, they file this time as they draft each other down the back straightaway. Nobody steps out of line. Everybody nose and tail in behind one another, setting up for the number 2 sign this time. 2 more laps to go. Platania coming out of turn number 4, drops down to the inside, down, Galgano gets Gutsy on the speedway. He steps out of line, looks up to the outside, following suit, back down to the inside part of turn number 2. Galgano going to try to make a late race stab. Scotty Kerr 3rd. And Tommy Green drops off the pace for just a second. Here comes the number 62, Bill Pasquale, down the back straightaway. Pasquale making a drop to the inside, fights for the number 5 spot. White flag coming out. One more time around. Platania comes down across the stripe, holds on to a very comfortable lead. Goes way wide down in turn number 2 this time. Watch the leader coming out of turn number 2. Galgano 2nd, Kerr 3rd, Green 4th, Picciano back in spot number 5. Checkered flag getting set to fly. The winner of the Pat Kelly Hayden Straw Street Stock Championship Beach Revenge here tonight, the number 317 of John Platania. Steve Galgano is 3rd, Scott Kerr is 4th, Tommy Green 5th, and Rocky Picciano in spot number 5.
words with him real quick as a track photographer taking his picture. The Kelly Haynes Straw Street Stock feature event winner out here tonight. He counted himself a checkered flag every time he came out of the speedway tonight. Of course, the winner of the Dash for Cash earlier, and of course the qualifying heat winner, pocketing nearly $800 for his efforts out here tonight in total. And John, I'll tell you, a good night of racing on the 5/8 mile. Every time you set wheel on the hard clay, you work yourself home with a checkered flag.
Yeah, they don't get no better than this.
You have any event, of course, that you started outside in row number 1 that gave you a good inkling that you might have a good stab at it, but all the regular street stock hard chargers were right there in your tail the whole race long.
Yeah, it was a good race. It was a clean race. We had no problems. Everything went the way we wanted it to. Thanks to Fred, George, my wife, my kids, everybody.
Well, we mentioned earlier, of course, that you won the D&M Tank Cleaning Carroll Birchwell Racing Street Stock Dash, now a feature event win, and you pocketed almost $800 for your efforts out here tonight. Probably one of your most profitable nights in the whole 1994 racing season.
Probably ever.
I'll tell you what, you're going to be rounding out the season over Eastern States weekend with the Invitational race, but what a way to wind up that 1994.
Thank you very much.
John Platania, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Pat Kelly Haynes Straw Street Stock Championship event here tonight at the Orange County Speedway.